You know, in the next Ben & Woods contract, one thing I'm going to ask for is a space heater for the studio, or like an electric blanket maybe that we can use. Welcome in, everybody. It is freezing cold in the Ben & Woods studio this morning, but we are here and ready to brave all of the elements to give you the best show possible. We will do our very best. Welcome in. Let's get our heads right on a Thursday. If you hear this throughout the show, that's just me blowing on my hands. If we had a metal garbage can, I would start a fire in it, and we could stand around it and sing doo-wop songs all together.
Like hobos.
Like hobos, and just doop, 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 doop. Do-dum. Now you dum. Just warming our hands over a trash can fire.
Let's get some marshmallows. We can toast them.
I'm telling you,
I'm sure the engineers won't mind.
It's so overrated. Toasted marshmallows, by the way. It's so overrated. S'mores, overrated. We've had the s'mores discussion before. I stand by it. Right? You agree with me on this, yes? They never turn out like they're supposed to.
No, I mean, I don't mind a good toasted marshmallow. I'm not a huge graham cracker fan. And, you know, generally the s'mores are made with the cheapest of regular chocolate bars, which I'm not going to go for either.
You want Godiva chocolate.
Good Ghirardelli.
Ooh, I like that.
Or, you know, something decent.
Yeah, it's really, really chilly in here, but we will brave the elements and get through it. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He is the executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm just dandy. Couldn't be better. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
Friendly and healthy.
Yes.
Got a very good checkup at the doctor yesterday.
Okay, so you did your blood test on Saturday.
Yep.
You got your results back.
She said everything looks really good. You're taking good care of yourself. Just keep doing what you're doing. I don't know if I've ever been to the doctor where they just said, "Yeah, well done."
Not since I was like 13, you know, because I didn't do anything.
Correct.
Then they're like, "Yeah, you're fine."
Usually, you dread the visit to the doctor, the scolding you're going to get about
I'll exercise
changes
more.
You need to make, diet changes, exercise changes, lifestyle changes, and it was pretty much just uninterrupted praise. Yeah, great job keeping the weight off. Sounds like your exercise regimen is on point. And I said, they should just keep going. We'll see you in a year, hopefully.
Well, you're looking at the flip side of that coin right now with your old pal Woodsy here, who I can only assume with what's going on with me that I'm dying. 2 days in a row, up at 2 o'clock in the morning, not sleeping, not able to go back to sleep. Then I woke up this morning and, you lay there and you almost cry because you're so tired. And the thought then of like, I've got 4 hours till showtime, and then you got to get through 4 hours. Then you've got marriage counseling. Then you have a child performance tonight at 6:30, the Christmas pageant, if you will. So you lay there and you go through the day's upcoming events, and you go, "Oh my God, how am I going to do this?" And then you get in the shower, and then you get out of the shower, you look in the mirror, and you've broken out in hives. I had hives all over my face this morning. Can you look at my forehead now? Do you see any splotchy?
Like a line, like
Just
where your
that's
hat
where the
usually
hat
is,
was.
but otherwise you look okay. You think you've unbroken out. Well, let me ask you, because they did say I was due yesterday for a mental health screening, and they went through questions. I had to fill out.
You did?
Yeah, a form. It was just like 15 questions, and they were all the same. They were, how many times in the last 2 weeks have you felt like an impending sense of dread? How many times
14.
have you been unable to have you laid awake at night,
12.
unable to sleep?
Keep them coming.
How many times have you been restless and fidgety and unable to, sit still?
14.
Yeah. So I just went zeros with everything and felt like I am in excellent mental health.
You drive me.
Are you serious?
You drive me insane.
So, hang on.
You drive me insane.
Let's back up a little bit. You go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
All the physical stuff, they get that out of the way. They've checked you out, they've talked with you, and they said, you need a mental health assessment.
Correct.
Which I've never
I'm
heard.
just due for the every couple of years, the mental health assessment.
That's never happened.
What?
Never.
I thought this seemed like a standard operating procedure.
No, sir.
I went probably 18 months ago or so for like just a checkup.
Yeah, physical.
They didn't ask me how.
I've never been asked.
You need a mental health assessment.
Never.
It's a screening.
Never.
Something you said. or
Something
did.
you said triggered
You know,
them.
like, I mean, there was, like, do you have thoughts of harming yourself? It was 0. No,
yeah, see,
none of those.
I don't have any of those.
Okay, that's good.
But I don't think that's normal. And I think you said something that made this doctor go, you need a mental health assessment. And then you proceed to just do
just
zeros.
lie.
I
Zero,
didn't lie.
zero,
Well, I did say at the
zero.
end. I said either I'm the mentally healthiest person you've ever met,
Or
I'm
you're insane.
I'm just a complete liar. I don't know which though. It's one of the two.
I don't think it's a lie. Like George Costanza said, it's not a lie if you believe it. It's just that is not a common thing at the doctor. Ever.
A mental health assessment.
Never. If anyone
They had a whole form for it. Like they just invent
they
it at
do.
the last second for me.
Okay, hang on. Dub J, maybe we're wrong. He said, nope, this has come up over the last year, the mental health assessments. Either my doctor knows I'm certifiably insane and is like, why waste the time? Or maybe it's been over a year since I've been to the doctor. Maybe. That doesn't feel right. So do you remember any
By the
more?
way, Ben lied. And that's not good.
What?
You just put zeros.
Yeah. You can't. Nobody's 100% mentally well.
Should
No one.
Should I have thrown in a 1 somewhere
Just to make them, yes.
make it look normal?
Okay.
I was worried about that for a second.
All right. People are saying that their doctors do it.
Okay.
Okay, I feel better about that. You should feel better about that as well. Like, yeah, here's a new standard part of the procedure, so just fill that out. And that is incredible. That's really incredible. No, I mean, I'm despondent like every day of the week, and I wish I wasn't. I really wish I wasn't. And it's not like, I mean, I suffer from like low grade depression. It's not crippling, obviously. I don't go to my bed. Like if there's no one home, I'm in bed. Like relaxing, shutting my brain off, listening to music, reading a book, watching TV, whatever. But like when my kids are home and stuff, I'm not like, leave me alone, I'm having one of my spells, and like pull the covers up over my head. Like I don't do that. Like, oh, don't bother Dad. He's having one of his spells.
He's in one of his moods.
He's in one of his moods, So like, but like the anxiety of life and the anxiety of really, I think parenting is my number one. I worry about the show and stuff, but like not as much as I used to.
Well,
I really don't.
I certainly have the normal like concerns about my kids and about my job, and I think that everybody does.
Yeah.
But I've just gotten to the point where
what can you do about it?
What can I do about it? Why worry about it constantly?
So
I
here's the
just
difference.
Don't worry.
Your kids are 21 and 19. My kids are 7 and 4. And so you start to see behaviors from your kids, and you go, okay, I know this is a normal behavior. We are having an issue as we speak with a certain competitive child of mine, and who really likes to win more than anything. And I won't say like win at all costs. Like he's not going to like cheat his way there, but he loses a little control when they're playing a game in the street, and if things don't go his way. And the reaction of it is concerning. The reaction is like, let's say let's say I'm him and we're playing a game together and I throw you a perfect pass and you boot it. I'm yelling at you, right? And that's your friend. And I told him last night at dinner, I said, look, this is the hard part, man. You're 6 and almost 7. You're learning how to be in school with kids. You're learning how to interact. It's different. You're not used to it, right? You're at home. You're with me and Mom and your brother. I said, but now you got 50 kids around. You got to learn how. I go, this is all part of the process. This is why we do it. This is why you're in school. Yes, we want you to learn, but interacting with people is really the gist of all of this. And I said, here's the hard part, too. You have a group of friends. I said, your dad's a ball breaker. Your mom is a huge ball breaker. We break balls. I said, that's hard to delineate from breaking balls or being a huge jerk, And I said, what I don't want to happen to you is you look up one day and you're like, are those my friends down there playing without me? Because That happens. That happens. And you're like, oh, what have I done? And you see your old buddies and they're like, bro, we don't want to come down to your house and get verbally abused by you for dropping the same balls that you drop, right? Like, no one's perfect. And so I lay in bed at night thinking about this. Also, like, I love that he wants to win. I love it. I love that he's competitive. I think it's the best thing ever. I love that he has the drive to get better. But I'm also going, all right, man, how do you teach a 6-year-old to win and lose with grace? Right? And that's what I was up thinking about at 2 o'clock this morning. That's what Hannah and I were talking about last night. And so it just makes it really hard. If there was a book I could read or a seminar I could go to, I would. But it's almost like you just have to let this stuff play out, you know? And Hannah will do the thing where she'll run in and be like, Bo's in the street playing and he's being a jerk. And the other day I finally go, look, I can't go police him every time he's being a jerk to his friends. Consequences are going to happen. It's probably important that he learns them. I don't want those for him. I don't want his friends to abandon him. I said, but, you know, you need to learn those lessons.
Life lessons are always going to stick around longer than ones that are just told to you directly.
Yeah, of course, by your parents.
But as a parent, you don't want to see them in pain from learning those life lessons the really hard way.
Yeah, dude, it's just massive. It's just massive. So those are the things I worry about. Certainly, you know, you worry about the everyday rigors of life and everything else. But yeah, man, it's you know, I knew getting into this. To be a dad, I knew it was going to be a challenge, and there were parts of parenthood so far that I looked at and was like, "This is a breeze. I'm having a great time. This is a breeze." And then there are parts of it where I'm like, "Oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm setting my kids up to be the worst of all time." And I take on all that burden, and my wife does too. We both just beat ourselves to death about it, and it's probably what's kept me up the last 2 nights, to be honest.
Kevin in the chat says, I'm pretty sure one of the prerequisites to being a San Diego sports fan is a certain degree of mental illness.
Yeah, fair enough.
I handle it just by, you know what? Hey, bad stuff is going to happen. Let's not worry about it.
Yeah,
you know?
It's fair. It's fair. I mean, look, there's a lot of good in the world as well. And I did, before we go to break, I wanted to thank a couple of guys, Tyler and Rocky from Rare Society, where my wife went last night with her girlfriends for her company.
Love me some Rare Society.
So they did their like Nancaro Realty Group Christmas party, and they all went to dinner. And
Rare Society's steakhouse.
It's just fantastic.
Elite.
It's elite. And Tyler is like the GM, and he is a massive tier 1. And Rocky, the waiter, was a tier 1. And Hannah said, I have literally never gotten service like I got from those guys last night. And they wanted to know if you would say hello. I said, it would be my great pleasure. Thank you guys for listening. It's one of the best restaurants I've ever eaten at. I mean, it's just spectacular. So if you're looking for a place to go, Rare Society's pretty dope.
Very special occasion, and holiday, good place.
No plugola. I wasn't even there.
True.
So you can't even ring the siren on me. It was awesome. So thank you guys for taking care of the missus while she was out.
All right, we're going to come back. We'll set the menu. We also have an early do this on a Thursday here. We're going to chat with one of our friends.
Oh, yes.
And tier 1s who had some big news yesterday that I thought needed to be acknowledged on the program. I'll just kind of tease it and leave it at that, and we will come back with an early guest coming up next with Ben Woods and Paul. Kelly's got traffic here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
We were just talking about mental health, and I don't even understand for professional golfers how they keep their mental health when their entire livelihood
I know.
for a year comes down to how you perform in one weekend.
Yeah, sometimes on one hole.
PGA Tour, Q School, knowing there's just a couple of spots and you gotta play well, or you don't have a job.
Yeah.
For the next year, it's terrifying. And you might remember last year, our former NIL Aztec athlete Steve Sugimoto made it through Q School on the Japan tour. But then, unfortunately, he got hurt, his wrist, and didn't really get to compete much. So he had to go all the way back to the start, go through the second stage of Q School. He advanced through that to the final stage. And guess what? For the second straight year, he did it. He made it. And joining us all the way from Japan right now is our good friend Steve Sugimoto, once again a member of the Japan tour. Steve, good morning for us. Good late evening for you, and congratulations.
Good morning, guys. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, buddy. Shouldn't you be on the driving range right now?
It's
as we
like
speak?
11:30 at night.
Oh,
there.
I didn't know. I had no idea what time it was.
You should be in the gym
No
or at the
shot.
range, something.
I'm resting my wrist right now. It's only a temporary fix. I got a cortisone shot, like some baseball players we know.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel better. I'm just happy I got through those 2 weeks without any incident.
And so the cortisone shot, I mean, honestly, like how long will that buy you?
Anywhere from 6 weeks to like 6 months, or
Okay.
sometimes it just doesn't affect you at all anymore. It's really just a crapshoot, really. But
Did they ever figure
we
it
really
out?
just shot for what's that?
Did they ever figure it out? What was wrong with your wrist?
No, I'm still gonna get some tests when I come back home in a few days, and then I'm still doing physical therapy and all that.
Good.
So hopefully it's good to go by the season.
So tell me, Steve, how much pressure were you under? Because I saw your last round wasn't your best, so you had some maybe room to spare. What did you need? What did you know going into that final round to earn your card for the season?
Yeah, I was tied for fourth going into the last round of final stage, and first winning gets you full status for the whole year, and then second on is conditional priority ranking, all that fun stuff. But I felt pretty good. I felt happy that I was even playing. But things just didn't work out. I made some mental mistakes and things kind of unraveled, and I was down on myself for a few days. So I didn't really post much, but I got over it. Just felt grateful that I have a job secured for next year, and just put things into perspective.
Yeah, and when you come back, I'm not kidding when I say this, man. I had wrist problems too. I went to QC Kinetics. They did fix me right up. I'm not kidding. And at 5 treatments each. And now I'm not a pro golfer. I don't hit 1,000 balls a day, but it has changed my life. So when you come back, you can call me, talk about it, get you in there to see those people. And I just can't imagine, bro, like the grind that you've had to go through. And if it was your foot or something, you're like, all right, well, I mean, at least I can still putt and chip and swing it a little bit. When it's your hands and your wrists, I mean, those are your instruments. You can't play golf without your wrists. You just can't.
Yeah, it was tough, but like the line Ben always says, like if you had told me before Q school that I'd be back in final stage competing in the second to last group, I would have taken it. So
100%.
Yeah, so I was disappointed in the moment, but I'm just happy to be back, and hopefully I can get it right.
That's awesome, dude.
Well, still
Proud
believe
of you, bro.
still believe in you big time.
No doubt.
Good luck. Hopefully we'll get to catch up when you come back, and hopefully have a big season next year and bigger and better things going forward. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I give you guys much more things to celebrate next year. And go Padres.
And go Padres. And while you're over there, if you do run into Roki Sasaki, tell him the media in San Diego. They're soft as baby S. We will not mess with him at all. We'll never look in his general direction. Just come over here and just pitch, and we'll leave him alone.
I'm already doing my best
All right,
over here.
good. Work what you got over there.
Yeah.
And, listen, this is an international show now. So thank you, dude. We love you. We're proud of you.
So proud of you.
Yes.
Bro,
Thank you.
Listen, you've already made us proud. This is for you now. Go out and crush it.
I could be a little more proud at some point.
no.
Just,
So, Steve, your last round was
No, that's the
actually your
motivation
worst.
I need. That's the motivation I need.
All right, kick his
I'm not
ass.
satisfied.
Kick
so
his ass.
Ben shouldn't be either.
Kick his ass, Stevie. We love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Steve Sugimoto, a member of the Japan Tour, and hopefully continuing to grow in his professional golf career.
Love that kid.
All right, here's what we got coming up on the program today. Last day of the winter meetings. Again, another quiet day for the Padres. All they did was a move in the Rule 5 draft. We can't talk about it, but there was, of course, the huge move yesterday. The Sox trading with each other, white and red, with Garrett Crochet making the move to Boston. We can talk about the big move. Was he disappointed? I don't think there was any package. that the Padres could have put together. I mean, they could have put together a package, but
It would have been Orioles prospects, but they could have put together a package.
perhaps.
Yeah.
But it didn't get done. The Red Sox get it done, and we'll talk about the latest from baseball's winter meetings in Dallas.
Isn't this a fun job where we spend, I don't know, an hour racking our brains on how we could put together a package for Garrett Crochet, and then, like, I don't know, on the drive home,
The drive home, it happens.
it's traded.
Maybe you give it to us at 8 o'clock yesterday. How about that? Instead of us speculating about it for an hour, like buffoons.
I feel like we got a full hour out of it. I mean, it's great. Now we can move on to something else and not continue to speculate about Garrett Crochet anymore. Had a San Diego State game that looked very in control last night, and then all of a sudden
Not so much.
got a little nervous for Aztecs fans. We'll talk a little San Diego State hoops coming up at 7 o'clock before we play Real or Fake. We still have no qualifiers for our new prize, our getaway to Vegas and the college basketball viewing party package in March. So you'll have a chance without any musical knowledge to qualify today in a throwback Thursday game of Real or Fake. Don't do this at 7:20. More baseball talk as we go forward as well. And then in the second half of the program, Saris, our friend from The Athletic, who was, at the winter meetings and always covers it well, will give us his wrap-up of some of the big moves and what's still out there, I would say, you know?
And I want to ask because, with the A.J. Preller comments about moving his maybe favorite baseball player in the world, Adrien Morejon, back to the starting rotation is, that's a potential thing that could happen. I want to ask him his thoughts about what the Padres can still do.
He'll have an interesting perspective on that, I would think. Ryan will report at 9 o'clock at some point, maybe there. We'll talk about the big Bill Belichick news. Returning to coaching, but in college football at North Carolina.
So weird.
So weird.
It does seem weird. And I could see it working, and I could see it completely being a disaster.
Same.
And then our football threesome at 9:20 and getting ready for Annie Elston at 10 o'clock. So that's your morning menu. We will come back. The big Garrett Crochet trade. Last bits of news before they wrap up the winter meetings later this morning. That is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, he's now known as Garrett Crochet. For me, he's no longer Garrett Crochet. That's too fancy. Your name's Crochet. It's spelled Crochet. That's how we're going to
Kind of like
pronounce
Bob Cratchit from A Christmas Carol.
Kind of like
Crotchet.
that. Yes, Crochet. He's a Red Sox now.
Well, it's not. It wasn't his decision.
No, I know.
He doesn't have a choice as to who he plays for, at least for another couple of years until he can hit free agency.
Yep.
The team that traded for him, that's his new team, and it is going to be the Boston Red Sox. Now, I never really had a ton of hope that the Padres were going to land Garrett Crochet, but wherever he goes, I think undoubtedly has an impact on the Padres' offseason.
You know, it's funny. The only reason I had any excitement at all is because that I got a tip from somebody yesterday. So I was all fired up during the show. I was like, ooh, Crochet. Let's make this work. Let's happen.
According to Bob Nightingale, they weren't even close, the Padres.
Well,
they weren't even in the top 5 teams that were there
I
at
mean,
the end.
when you see the return, you realize, that's Leo, and that's Ethan, and that's, I don't even know if you had the prospect capital. So if it was just a straight up, hey, we're going to deal with the White Sox, I don't know that the Padres had the prospect capital to do it. But if you had flipped Dylan Cease to the Orioles for some of their better prospects, then you can start working some magic there. So that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. It didn't. So now Corbin Burns floating out there in the ether. There's reports coming in of a couple different places that are looking at Corbin Burns. Kind of expected to sign today is what I heard yesterday on MLB Network. So once he signs, I think if you're still actively looking to move Dylan Cease, then you call the teams that weren't in on Burns.
Yeah,
as long as they're not in the NL West.
And
Giants.
not that the Red Sox couldn't use more pitching, but this definitely lessens their need for a frontline starter, which reduces the potential trading partners for the Padres a little bit. As you mentioned, the Orioles seem like they would be an ideal suitor for Dylan Cease because of the fairly reasonable salary for next season. Their large prospect capital seems like it would make it pretty easy to come up with some sort of match of something that AJ Preller likes. He's clearly scouted the Orioles system extensively and has opinions on everyone in there to try to pull off a deal. But, until the Orioles know whether they're getting Corbin Burns back or not, it's going to be hard for them to pull the trigger on a giant trade. Once most of the free agents go, then you're in a better position to know, okay, these 3 teams are pretty desperate for starting pitching and there's not much left on the market that they're going after. Then you pit them against each other to try to drive up, potential trade offers. That's how it's going to work. Right now I would say the Orioles are the likeliest target, but there are other teams that undoubtedly would be interested in even renting Dylan Cease for a year. It ups your chances of making the playoffs and winning a World Series.
Yeah, and again, you're not renting him for $30 million. This isn't a Blake Snell type rental. This is a this is a moronically easy rental to stomach. I mean, what did Alex Cobb got? $15 million? Alex Cobb got $15 million, and you're telling me I can get Dylan Cease for prospects and pay him what? 17?
13 to 14.
13. Oh, done.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. So, listen, it's all dependent on what you get back. If you get back some sort of major league ready talent or guys that will contribute to the team next season, I think you have to look at it. And I think they're going to have to get creative based on, everything that we know about the money they don't have to spend in free agency. And I'm telling you, Benny, I don't know if you feel this way, but yesterday on MLB Network, they went through, okay, here are all the starting pitchers that have signed. And this is what they're signing for. And here's who's left. And here's what they're going to command. And I went, who can play in this field? Certainly not the Padres. And I sat there for a second and I went, do I even want to play? If I'm AJ Preller and I'm Padres ownership, I go, I don't want to live in a world where I have to spend $15 million on Alex Cobb for one season. I don't want to live in a world where I have to spend $22 million on Sean Manaea per year. Right?
Maybe even more. They're saying he might get over $25 million a year.
I don't know that that's the arena I want to play in. So then that makes me pivot to being more creative. And so, look, those guys get their bag. I have no problem with it. But holy smokes, man, there have been some massive, massive overpays on starting pitching.
Now, I don't, just to be clear, keeping Dylan Cease has to at least be a legitimate possibility for the Padres. You cannot,
no question.
You cannot just give him away for nothing to save money and avoid the luxury tax. That's not running your baseball team in a responsible manner. Trading Dylan Cease because you feel like, hey, we're getting good, controllable pieces. We're probably not going to be able to re-sign him, and we're trying to get better for multiple years by trading him, and we've got a secondary plan to help replace some of those pitching innings as well. That's smart baseball, and that's what I'm advocating for. If the Padres can find a smart way to trade Dylan Cease that helps the team, then yeah, absolutely you go for it. If they're giving Dylan Cease away because they just can't afford $13 to $14 million, that's nuts. He's one of the most affordable bargains out there. That's why his value should be really high on the trade market. But if they're not getting the kind of offers that you would expect for that kind of value, walk away. More than happy, play out the last year of Dylan Cease, and I'll enjoy him another season at Petco Park. That's where I land right now in these Dylan Cease trade talks and rumors.
And it's just funny, man. I picked Bo up from school yesterday, and we were driving home, and Dylan, he loves Dylan Cease, loves him. And I go, hey, just so you know, there's the potential that Dylan Cease gets moved. And he looked at me, he goes, no. And I go, yeah. And he goes, why? And I go, well, and I'm trying to explain to a 6-year-old why they may have to move his favorite pitcher after they moved his favorite outfielder, after they moved all of his favorite players. And I just said, buddy, go home and start working on your game, because what players are making now is enough to set you and your family up and their families for the rest of their lives.
Start learning how to pitch.
Learning how to command the baseball, spin the baseball, whatever, hit the ball hard. And I said, but man, it's just the weird nature of baseball these days. When you are going for it, you're not developing many of your own pitching prospects. I said, you got a guy like Dylan Cease who you probably can't afford to give an extra 8-9 years at $30 million, and you can get 4 guys back for him. You have to do it. And he just sat back in the back seat and shook his head. He's like, doesn't really get it.
Dylan Cease wasn't the only Padres player to pop up in trade rumors yesterday. There's one name that you'll not be surprised about, and one that you might be very surprised about, and we'll talk about that right after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Department of Public Works, County of San Diego, and funded by Cal Recycle. Several things going on here, guys. One of them is a stalled car southbound 5 near Garnett. It's in the center divide. Also going to find on northbound 5 a collision right before 6th Avenue. Everything's over to the right shoulder. And eastbound 52 at Convoy exit a collision. Looks like they may have to shut that ramp down to clear that. Bring in a used oil filter and get a new one free from County of San Diego Recycling at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores in Ramona, Fallbrook, Lakeside, and Spring Valley on December 14th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Restrictions apply. Details at wastefreesd.org. Funded by Cal Recycle. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So it seems pretty clear Padres are definitely listening on trade offers for Dylan Cease, but according to John Heyman yesterday, they are also listening to trade offers for Luis Arraez, who is another player who is heading into the final year of control and contract and is probably going to make a bit of an outsized salary. That's why there's talks of extending him and perhaps lowering his CBT number by, extending him 3 years, but at a lower AAV than what he'd get in arbitration. So not surprised that there's conversations there. If other teams are interested in your A.J. Preller, you listen about a player like that. He also said the Padres are listening to trade offers involving Xander Bogaerts. And that one did surprise me. I have no idea the extent that Heyman is talking about or what sort of, rumors or whispers he is hearing. But I find it unlikely that there's a bunch of GMs in baseball who are picking up the phone and saying, how can I craft an offer to acquire
You
Xander?
mean two-time world champion, Silver Slugger winner Xander Bogaerts?
Correct.
One of the best teammates you could ever
100%.
employ.
100%. Maybe you shut your pie hole. How about that, Mr. Verbose? I told you this yesterday. You're going to cost us Roki, and now you're going to cost us. Perry Manazian was just listening and is like, oh, I guess maybe I shouldn't pick up the phone. Got to remember with Xander Bogaerts, too, he does have a full no trade clause. So if something did materialize, he can go, no, I'm good. We've seen that play out here before.
We've also seen pretty much every time it's happened, the player eventually relents and says, okay, fine. If you don't want me here, I'm going to go. I've never heard a single thing from the Padres front office that they don't want Xander Bogaerts here. It's almost like hard to believe how much they do want Xander Bogaerts here. They love Xander. They believe that his production is kind of going to return to some of the levels that they saw in Boston in the first 2 years.
I have no doubts.
Were somewhat of outliers in terms of the OPS dropping to career lows for Xander. And
you know what it is, dude? It's the money. 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 I can when he got here, I was posting the John Henry meme every day going, I can't believe you gave us this guy. This guy's unbelievable. He came out gangbusters. He's gotten hurt every single year. They've moved his position. It hasn't been the smoothest free agent transition for Xander Bogaerts, okay? I don't begrudge him taking that contract. I begrudge the Padres for giving it to him. I don't begrudge him at all. He is a fabulous dude. We've interviewed him only once. He was fantastic. But he's so good with the media. He gives great answers. He tells you, I suck. I suck right now. Who does that? Nobody else does that. I respect the hell out of that dude. I really do. That's not lip service.
I do think the reason why it would be so hard to trade Xander Bogaerts is not because another team wouldn't want him. If the Padres, absorbed a lot of the contract, would say, hey, yeah, his average annual value $25.5 million. If the Padres had to pay, say, $20 million of that, every team would love to have a Xander Bogaerts at $5 million a year. He is a great guy to have on your roster in your clubhouse. It's just at $25.5 million on a team that obviously is facing some financial constraints and trying to stay under the luxury tax. That's a big chunk of your available funds going to a player whose production has not been great the last couple of years. So where would you ever line up with another team on that to make it work? That's why I was surprised to even hear that rumor yesterday that AJ is listening. That makes it seem like someone actually called and said, yeah, here's what I would give you for Xander Bogaerts, and here's how we could make it work if he'd be interested in coming. Going back to Boston, I have no idea what that even looks like.
Is the potential, though, that you just throw that out there? Just say, oh, yeah, getting calls on all kinds of guys. Because you know how baseball works is what if we can get the Padres to eat 18?
I was surprised at all the Houston Astros, who are apparently on the trade block. The Framber Valdez, Kyle Tucker. It's like, are you really trading all these players?
It's the weirdest thing, and I wish, again, I understood it. Maybe I'll ask Eno Saris about this. Kyle Tucker debuted the same year as Juan Soto, right? And Kyle Tucker is a guy that can help you win World Series championships. DeRosa and those guys were talking about it yesterday, and they go, "Well, you guys know how Houston operates. They don't like to give contracts. Right? They're going to let Bregman go. They're going to let Framber Valdez go. They're going to let Kyle Tucker go." As an owner, if I was the owner of the 5th largest market in the country, I would do everything in my power to make sure Alex Bregman played third for me, Kyle Tucker was in the outfield, and Framber Valdez was on the bump. No question about it. What do I need to give to make sure that Breggy's here and that Kyle Tucker's here? How am I going to let Kyle Tucker walk away and go to the New York Yankees or the Chicago Cubs in good conscience? This is why baseball sucks sometimes.
Is it?
That's why it sucks. We don't like to give out these big contracts. Some people will say, "Oh, they're so smart. That's so smart not to do that." In
like
my
some
mind,
cyclical thing where they I mean, we remember the mid 2010s Astros finishing 100+ losses every year, getting those top draft picks. Remember the guy predicted on Sports Illustrated they would win a World Series. We know why they won that World Series, of course, but like,
is it the
they
cycle?
got theirs.
They got theirs.
And now
I guess you're right.
We got to reload?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, like, I guess then, Paulie, it's a good point. I mean, most teams need to reload from time to time.
They had a 6-7 year window of contention? Couple rings?
Yeah. I guess you do have to reload, but for me, like, Kyle Tucker is the same age as Juan Soto. Why am I letting Kyle Tucker go to the New York Yankees? That doesn't make any sense. Bregman is a little bit older, but still, Framber Valdez, maybe you don't like the direction his career's heading. I don't know. Maybe I could let that one go, but you don't let Kyle Tucker walk away.
Ultimately, to run a successful baseball team, you have to strike a balance. You can't be the Tampa Bay Rays and simply let everybody go, when they start getting more expensive. You have to think about your fans and have some players that they can fall in love with and know are going to be around for a while. Cornerstones of your franchise, and you have to be willing to pay them to keep them around. You also can't simply pay everyone to stay forever and just give everybody huge long-term contracts that then handcuff you to make any other moves that you need to make. You have to find a balance, and it's okay to occasionally let higher priced talent go as long as you're not letting everybody go. What's the right balance? Well, that's the magic formula that everybody's looking for in baseball.
It just, and again, they said, well, Kyle Tucker, based on what Juan Soto got, Kyle Tucker's going to be a $400 million player. Man, if that's the case, you should have re-upped Kyle Tucker a year ago. You should have re-upped Kyle Tucker 2 years ago. You want to talk about your vision and how brilliant you are, then lock that guy up. That really bugged me yesterday to hear, oh, yeah, he's probably going to be a Cub or a Yankee. And I go, how? How do you, if you're an Astros fan this morning and you're like, Kyle Tucker's on the move with a year left on his deal? It doesn't make any sense to me. So this is where baseball's a little bit broken. When you can't fall in love with a kid that you drafted and developed and turned into a superstar, an elite left-handed hitter, and you go, and you're Houston, by the way. You're in Houston. You have wealthy owners. Get Mattress Mac to pay for it. Throw down a couple of bets and call it a day. Like, it really bums me out. And I don't like the Astros. I don't care about Houston, but it just bums me out for the state of the game.
And then the one that really surprised me, Alex just mentioned in the chat.
What in the world?
The Pirates are trading Jarrett Jones?
How? Why?
He's cheap. He's young.
He got 5 years left. He's a stud.
I mean, again, you can get a lot for him, but that you're looking for. You're always searching for Jarrett Joneses. You got one.
You know what you want to get. You know what you want to get back in a trade for Jarrett Jones? Jarrett Jones. That's what you want to get back. I hate this. I hate it. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I do not get it. All right, we'll come back. We got more baseball talk, but we'll also discuss the Aztecs and a bit of a scare last night at home against California Baptist. Play a little real or fake. All coming up here on 97.3 The Fan. Steve, who's our design director at Channel 10, big Aztec basketball fan, and he said, how many points do you think the Aztecs are going to win by last night before the game? Came by my desk. I said, I don't know. I think the spread is like 13.5.
15 for me.
Against California Baptist. And I said, I think they cover that. I think they win by about 15. You know, Ken Palm's projecting a 16-point win for the Aztecs. And he goes, no, I think this is going to be a lot closer. I think it's going to be a 7-point game. Again, I feel like in the end they're going to pull away. And so I'm watching the game last night, and I'm feeling pretty smart. Yeah, I was impressed by California Baptist,
as was I,
and their offense. Guys can shoot.
They can shoot.
You know, you don't come into Viejas Arena, most teams, and hit shots the way the Lancers did last night. But even with all the shots they were making, they were still down 5 or 6 at the half.
Yep.
And then San Diego State started pulling away, as I expected in the second half. It looked like Cal Baptist, they kind of losing their legs. You know, some of those shots were coming up short. And eventually the Aztecs were up like 19 with 8 or 9 minutes to go. And I go, okay, it's blowout time.
Blowout time, yeah.
You know, just don't get sloppy, and this is going to be a really easy win. And my jaw was almost on the floor as California Baptist just possession after possession. 3, 3, 3. And they're just like quickly getting back into the game. It was single digits, and then it got down to 6, and then it was 5, and then it was 4 with like in the last minute of the game going, holy cow. The Aztecs need to avoid what would be a crippling loss now here at home against a team that was ranked like 199th in the net rankings. This is getting a little too nervous for Aztecs fans last night.
It was way too close.
Yeah, I was
it
texting
was
with some
way
buddies,
too close.
and one of my boys, he goes, we need like a 10-point win to help in the net rankings. And it got to the point where like, bro, we just need the dub. Like, we just need the dub
Like,
right
hey.
now. We can't. What did they say? Dutcher is, what is it, 112 at Viejas Arena? You can't let California Baptist be one of those 12, one of those 13. Absolutely not.
So, and I can't even point to anything the Aztecs were necessarily doing wrong.
Rebounding is what Dutcher said. He said
some rebounding.
He said, look, it basically starts and stops with rebounding. And they on the offensive glass, Benny, they got out rebounded 17-7, you know, and that team is too good. That's effort, you know, that's an effort thing. And what was it, Baptist? No, I almost said
California Baptist.
California Baptist. This is a Dallas Baptist. California Baptist outworked them on the boards last night.
What I see often, and you know, the Aztecs are a good shot blocking team with Guath and Jones. They block a lot of shots, but they're so sometimes obsessed with blocking the shot that they're then out of position when they alter the shot and it doesn't go in, but then they're not there to grab the rebound. The other team is like, okay, well, you're trying to block my shot. I'll just miss one quickly and then grab it again and tip it back in. And that happens a little bit too often for San Diego State. So they need to find a balance between the shot blocking and actually boxing out and keeping, you know, those opposing teams from those offensive rebounds that turn into a lot of easy baskets. You know, once again, it was different guys stepping up. Guath, who had no points against USD, had a good first half.
Yep.
You know, hit a couple of threes, 10 points, and then kind of disappeared again in the second half. But that's when Miles Heide stepped up and had a career-high 10 points, second straight good game, 10 points and 5 rebounds. Miles Bird, every time Cal Baptist hit a three-pointer, it felt like Miles Bird would come back and answer on the other end with a big shot.
He's unreal. That steal and the dunk, oh, my God. I mean, he's so fun to watch. He's an electric player.
He is certainly taken his game to another level this season. He's a fun player to watch. And this team, and, you know, Paulie, you know, you've been watching the Aztecs for a long time. They have so many more shooters than I have ever remembered San Diego State. Like, the big guys can shoot. The guards can shoot. The forwards can shoot. I mean, you used to remember games where it would just be like, all right, well, they're going to brick it for about 10 minutes, and they'll be down 12-11, and then they'll eventually win it 62-54. And now it's like, no, go down the court, make some shots. It's an actually decent-looking offensive team.
Defensively, a guy like Magoon Guath, he looks every bit of San Diego State basketball. We've always had that tall rim protector, shot blocker, that force down in the blocks. But when he steps out and he's hitting nothing but net from 30 feet,
Crazy.
you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's a different
This
level,
is
man.
Wild. And then Nick Boyd he is really impressing me.
He's awesome.
His ability to score, whether it's driving to the basket, his shot has looked great. Pretty scary moment yesterday when he took that elbow. I thought he was like unconscious there for a second on the court. He was just laying there motionless.
Took it right in like the temple where
Yeah,
you
I was
really
like,
don't
that
want to
is
take an
so
elbow.
scary.
Came back out with a big bandage on his head, and then Taj DeGurval had the face mask.
face
'cause he had-
mask.
He had
So
taken it in
badass.
practice. So
I'd wear it if I didn't need it.
they're taking their bruises,
intimidating.
but they get the win, improve to 7-2. Yeah, it's not going to probably help them in the metrics much, but they avoided the bad loss. I will say, they're going to have when Reese Waters comes back, and he may be back certainly in time for hopefully conference play. I haven't heard an update lately, but the idea was getting him back here late December. They don't have another game until December 21st against Cal in San Jose. So a chance here in the next couple of weeks to get back the guy that you was expected to be your best player, your most experienced guy, who's returning the most points, and he has not yet played a single minute for the Aztecs. They'll have to work out some rotation issues again once Reese Waters gets in there. They've done a great job of just spreading. Everybody's gotten some touches. Everybody's gotten some looks. How do you add Reese Waters to the mix? I mean, does Wayne McKinney even get on the court anymore, or is he just going to get a couple of minutes? He hasn't really gotten into a rhythm. He had one or two decent games, but has not totally gotten into a rhythm coming off the bench for San Diego State yet. So Dutch is going to have some issues when that happens. But ultimately, one of the most balanced San Diego State teams.
So fun.
Even including the Final Four team. They're not bad defensively either. They guys play hard. They D up for the most part, and Cal Baptist, give them credit. They were hitting tough shots. The other team, they made 12 threes on the court at Viejas Arena.
Yep. It was
I can't remember a team that's come into Viejas Arena and hit 12 3-pointers.
State had a 19-point lead. I think was the highest. It was hovering between 10 and 14 points, kind of for most of the second half at least. But they just hung around.
And you looked up and you had 2 minutes to go and you go, why is this game this close?
Like if you're a Cal Baptist, you see the scoreboard, you're down 10 for most of the second half. You're 2 threes away
from
being
back in it.
right in there.
It's funny, Paulie.
They let them hang.
You were talking about checking the score, and I'm going to complain about something that I've complained about a lot in my life.
Oh, can I throw out the phone number because
Yes.
I agree with your complaint. We need a contestant for real
so
or
glad I
fake.
wasn't alone.
833-288-0973. If you want to play, chance to qualify for our trip to Vegas, real or fake in a couple of minutes. 833-288-0973. Call now, rant away, Woods, because I agree with you.
I rant about a lot of stuff, and I will see people ranting about this for every sport.
It feels minor.
And it's very minor. It's the first time ever that I went, all right, I get it. And I'm talking about the score bug on your view. If you don't know what a score bug is, it is that bar at the bottom. It's got all the pertinent
Are
information.
you Woods-splaining a score bug
I am.
to the audience?
Yeah, people may not know.
All right, that's fine.
I don't. Maybe they didn't know what it's called. The bar with all the
graphic.
info. The
On
graphic.
screen, yeah.
Hannah walked in from dinner, and the Aztecs game was on, and she sat down, and we were talking about dinner and the great service she had. And she said, what is happening with that graphic? I go, I'm glad you said that because I've been thinking about it all night while watching the game. She goes, who's winning? And I go, all right, if you look right here, that's the Aztec score. She goes, what's that number next? I go, that's the shot clock. She goes, oh, yeah, that's moving.
What's the other number? That's their ranking.
That's their ranking. Bro, this is verbatim. And she goes, what's that? I go, that's the Mountain West logo next to the Cal Baptist logo, next to the score. She goes, well, why don't they have a number? I go, because they're not ranked. She goes, I am so lost. What's the score?
They were
and
all
I go,
jumbled together,
bro,
man.
it was like hieroglyphics. So I texted these
It's like
guys.
a stock ticker at the bottom
Yes.
of the screen.
Yes. Try to decipher a stock ticker, right? So I texted both of these guys, and both of them wrote back, oh, my God, I'm so glad you said something, because I felt like I was losing my mind. You got to fix that thing.
It's one of the worst score bugs ever created
that I've ever
in television.
seen. I see people complaining about score bugs. I'm like, why don't you get a life? Go touch some grass, dude. You'll be fine. You'll be relaxed. Everybody figures out. Legit. The first time in my life I've ever complained about one. It was a train wreck.
It can't all be on the same line. You need a little bit of depth to your score bugs. Football has generally gotten it correct. They figured it out after many years. Can you believe we grew up, Paulie, watching television? They didn't have the score on the screen. You'd have to wait, every 3 or 4 minutes
Then
they
it pop up.
Celtics 97, Lakers
Yeah.
94, 4 minutes left.
You gotta pay
and then-
attention.
And then it would disappear, and you just guess for the rest of the next 5 minutes what the score was because they didn't even put it on the screen.
Was it the same with baseball?
Yeah, absolutely.
There'd just be Cubs,
no
Braves,
count.
and you're like,
No count, no score, no inning,
Like I pulled up an
nothing.
example of yesterday's score bug, and I'm looking
I
at
have
it,
no
I'm
idea.
watching on our YouTube stream. Like I see the 30, the shot clock. I think San Diego State has 30 points.
yes, 30.
They're down 19. This is a disaster.
The numbers are the same size. They're just so jumbled together. It was
Look,
and-
they're off
and
center too.
my wife was sitting next to me watching the game. I didn't say anything to her. I didn't text you guys yet. Like I just was like, God, this is tough. I don't remember it being like this because I've watched a lot of like FS1 or CBS Sports Network and kind of forget about the Yearview broadcast.
Let me read it to the audience. It says MWNCBU California Baptist 49 second half 10 30 66 23 San Diego State Aztecs logo. It's incredible. Hannah goes, "What are those little dots?" I go, "I think that's
Buy,
timeouts."
sell.
Wait,
sell.
are the dots timeouts
Those
or
are
are
the
they
timeouts. The
Okay.
dots are timeouts.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, man. It was brutal. Fix it.
But we're so resistant to change. I remember when I think it was Fox had the first permanent score bug on the screen. We all thought, oh no, this will never
This
won't
fly.
This is crazy. Some wacky person wants to change sports by putting the count and the score on the screen constantly.
so
Can we
glad
stop
they do.
messing with things, please?
I'm so glad they do.
I'm so glad they did it.
Oh my god.
And no, the
Yeah.
score wasn't 30, Jose. You missed. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was,
30.
was terrible. All right, we got some callers. Let's get to it. It is time for a little real or fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
All right, our lucky contestant, and I have not picked them yet, but we have one ready, can qualify for our 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas in March, plus 2 tickets to Hoops Central, their big tournament viewing party in March. You can check out the Westgate $70 million in room renovations, and then their luxury seating, high-definition screens, table service, and all the gaming action while you watch all the basketball in the month of March. For tickets, head to westgateresorts.com. Let's see, Jake. Jake, are you there?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
bud.
All right,
What's up,
Jake. You're going to be our contestant today, or real or fake, and hopefully Woods can help you because this was actually his request of category.
Oh, it is?
It's that time of year. How well do you know your holiday movies?
Oh, yes.
Today on
Oh, God.
Real or Fake, I've got a list of 7 motion pictures perfect for the season. All you have to do is separate the real from the fake.
I have a feeling these aren't going to be like It's a Wonderful Life.
No, it's
Elf.
not. All right, Jake, you know how to play. You need 4 out of 7 right to qualify for the grand prize drawing. You ready to go?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Round number 1, real or fake holiday movie. Black Christmas, real or fake?
Real.
It is real.
Wow. That was
Slasher movie, 2006.
Really?
Holiday slasher. Yep. All right, that's 1. You are 3 away from the win. Round number 2, The Perfect Holiday, real or fake? The Perfect Holiday.
Whoa.
Real.
Jeez.
Queen Latifah, Gabrielle Union, 2007.
Must miss.
Jake seems to know his holiday
Did Jake,
movies.
when you told him the category, Jake, did you go, oh boy, you sounded a little nervous. You acing these.
Yeah, I
crushing.
did. I did.
Round number
I thought he
3.
was going to throw in some Die Hard in there.
Oh.
Oh, no. That would be too easy.
Also too cliche.
Menorah in the Middle, real or fake? Menorah in the Middle, real or fake?
I can help you.
I'll take the help.
Fake.
Says fake, Jake?
Go fake.
You're absolutely wrong. 2022.
way!
Hanukkah movie, Menorah in the
Said
Middle.
Christmas movie.
I said holiday movies.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
He did.
Son of a...
Holiday movies.
Sorry.
All right, that's all right.
There is no way there's a movie called Menorah
There
in the
is.
Middle.
2022.
It's Frankie Muniz in it.
Round number 4. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Real or fake? Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Let's do fake.
Yeah, let's do a fake.
1964 classic.
Why has he done 4 reels in a row?
The Martians abduct Santa to learn what fun is all about, but Santa has to defeat the Martians and get back to Earth. All right, we're back to even now. You need 2 out of these last 3. Round number 5. The Hebrew hammer. Real or fake? The Hebrew hammer.
Come on.
Woods, what do you think?
That's fake, man. It's got to be.
Jake?
I don't know if he does 5 reels in a row.
There's
so
no
I'll go
way.
Fake.
Fake.
It's real.
I'm going to murder you.
Adam Goldberg and Andy Dick star in The Hebrew Hammer, where Santa's son Damien tries to destroy Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. But the Hebrew Hammer stops
I
them.
hate. I'm sorry, Jake.
Oh, no. All right, we need to get these last 2 right. All right, round number 6. A stripper named Christmas.
All right.
Real or fake? A stripper named Christmas.
Somebody's on corn tub.
Again.
Let's go another fake.
Yes.
That one's fake.
Game 7. Here we
One's
go.
fake. Here we go. Game 7 for all the marbles. You need to get this one right. Real or fake holiday movie? The Man Who Invented Christmas. Real or fake?
God. Woods, what do you think?
I don't have the foggiest idea. Not the fog. I can flip a coin for you. We can go that route.
Oh God. Let's go with real.
To be our first qualifier of the month, he goes with real. The correct answer is...
Yeah!
Real! Jake, you have done it. 2017. The movie stars an actor named Dan Stevens.
Isn't that your alter
That's
ego?
your
It's my alter ego. Yeah,
ego.
Dan Stevens stars in The Man Who Invented Christmas from 2017. Jake, stay on the line. Paulie's going to get your information during the break. You are in our first qualifier
to death.
for our grand prize drawing for Las Vegas. 6 reels and only the 1 fake.
Dan Stevens.
I'm looking him up.
Dan Stevens, actor Dan Stevens from The Man Who
That's
Invented
your
Christmas.
alter ego. Your other alter ego, Ben Hoggins, he stars in a stripper named Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought I could see that as a movie with heart, you know, a stripper named Christmas who the magic of the holidays comes to her establishment somehow.
Somebody
Yeah.
comes and actually saves her. And
No. She saves.
Oh, she
I think
saves
she
him.
saves Christmas. She's the stripper with the heart of gold.
Okay. I just call it
It's like a pretty woman
exotic
sort of thing.
dancer.
Yeah.
Okay. Stripper's a little bit 1987.
Well, this
Miami
movie
Beach.
could have been from
Most of Ben
1987.
is
That's true.
You don't know when my fake movies were actually made. so.
Dan Stevens is an English actor. First drew international attention for his role as Matthew Crawley in Downton Abbey.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so-
Downton Abbey.
He's really gone downhill.
It was also in The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Yep.
Can we get him on the?
2017.
Let's get him on the holiday extravaganza next week.
I'd be down. Actually, yeah, it's like a Charles Dickens film.
Oh.
I'd probably be interested in it, to be honest with you.
All right, Jake, we have a winner finally. I'm glad. It would have been sad if we'd gone 2 weeks and no one qualified for the trip to Las Vegas. So it's
my
Jake
heart,
now.
After he wins the first two
I know.
my heart starts racing when we get to
It almost
game
always
7.
comes down to Game 7 somehow. All right, we'll come back. Don't Do This is coming up next. Can we talk about what happened in the end of the NBA game last night?
If you must.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know if Paulie was trying to save that for the Randall report,
no,
but
no.
what a butchery of officiating at the end of the game last night.
Well, speaking of butcher, you're on Don't Do This, and you're not going to like it.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I don't even know why.
Strap in.
Coming up after
It's
traffic.
worse than you can
this
imagine.
This one was
On
97.3 The Fan.
This is going to be hard, man. I'm sorry, but I love you. Just remember I love you, and it'll be all right. He's so scared right now.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, Throwback Thursday. We don't need to throw back to Don't Do This, though. We've been doing it since almost the very beginning.
Yes, sir.
Like 2 weeks into our show or something.
Yep.
One of our very first segments. Still going strong. Start with a couple of stories that make you shake your head. And I don't think I'm being biased here. You know, I do have a man crush on Steve Kerr.
Yeah, indeed.
His Golden State Warriors were playing in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup tournament last night against the Houston Rockets. Had a 1-point lead and the ball as time was running out. Now, there wasn't enough time to run the clock out, so they had to get a shot off.
Okay.
And they did with 10 seconds left. Ball hit the rim, and it was a long rebound, and everyone's scrambling. They had it for a second. It was rolling toward the free throw line. Everyone's scrambling on the floor trying to get it. It's 5, 4, 3. Houston's all the way on the other side of the court. The game is almost over, and then all of a sudden the whistle blows. Whoop! Whistle, and they're thinking, oh, jump ball, they're all down there. They call foul on the Warriors in the mad scramble for the ball, and they're in the bonus, so they've taken the ball and they put Houston on the line on the other end of the court to shoot 2 free throws.
To win the game.
They make the 2 free throws.
Oh, my God.
And the Warriors lose. And Steve Kerr, was pretty irate
For him.
for Steve Kerr.
For him.
Pretty irate about how the officiating pretty much decided the game.
I've never seen a loose ball foul on a jump ball situation 80 feet from the basket with the game on the line. I've never seen that. I think I saw it in college one time, 30 years ago. Never seen it in the NBA. That is, unconscionable. I don't even understand what just happened. Loose ball, diving on the floor, 80 feet from the basket, and you're going to give a guy 2 free throws to decide the game when people are scrambling for the ball. Just give them a timeout. Physical game. We're going to call it a loose ball foul on a jump ball situation with guys diving on the floor with the game on the line. This is a billion-dollar industry. You got people's jobs on the line. I am stunned. I am stunned. I give the Rockets credit. They battled back. They played great defense all night. But I feel for our guys. Our guys battled back, played their asses off, and deserved to win that game, or at least have a chance for one stop at the end to finish the game. And that was taken from us by a call that I don't think an elementary school referee would have made, because that guy would have had feel and said, you know what, I'm not going to decide a game on a loose ball 80 feet from the basket.
Man.
So, if it was just one of 82 regular season games, you're mad, you move on. The fact that it was the elimination game in the Cup, and the winner goes to Vegas to the semifinals, and the players make a bunch of extra money for advancing, I think that added to the frustration that Steve Kerr was experiencing. Now, people commenting, the Inside the NBA guys, they were all also in disbelief that they would make a call like that to affect the game at the end.
Yeah,
and I understand. The Warriors have gotten plenty of good calls over the years.
I don't know enough about fouls in basketball to know, was that in fact a foul, or is that just one of those that you're like, you can't call that there. You can't call that there.
I don't really think it was a foul at all.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And you
then.
certainly don't call it.
You certainly
there.
don't call
That's
it there.
A jump ball, 100 out of 100 times.
They don't call obvious fouls on shots to decide the game because the referees go, I'm just swallowing my whistle here. Yeah, you might have gotten some arm, but you know what? I don't want to be the one who decides the game. But on this, you want to be the one who decides the game.
I do love that delineation that we all make as athlete. Like if you're an athlete, you're like, you cannot call that here. You can call it 4 innings ago. You cannot call that here.
And I agree. Not calling it is just as much deciding the game as calling it on a situation like that. But I think if the Rockets were being totally honest,
they'd be like, yes.
I don't think you should call it. I know.
Yeah, you'd hate it if it went against you guys. This one, I agonized over this. I agonized over it for about 30 seconds. And then I told Paulie, do it. So, do you know what's coming?
No.
Any ideas?
No idea.
Okay. It's time for another interruption breakdown here on Ben and Woods.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Now do you know?
Yes.
Yes! All right. This was
It was about 8.
Sorry to Chris Rose.
8:45
yesterday's
a.m. yesterday.
Yesterday's wrecking ball. And I went to college. Hold on. You can hear his brain getting crisp, like the smoke starting to form in your brain. Like, I'm getting this joke out. Regardless. I went to college in Chicago. I went to Cleveland a bunch. I had a freaking blast every time I went there. The people are great. It's a great place to visit. I wouldn't want to live there because I live in San Diego, but you get it.
Hey, listen, I'm from there and I don't live there.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it is great, like particularly in the summer. And I will say this:
they put out that river yet, or is it still on fire?
Okay, now that's seriously.
Chris,
I really,
sorry, Chris.
Let's get a joke that's not 50 years old. Come on, guys.
That's all he does.
You can't do it. It's
Let's
double.
improve our repertoire.
It's a double penalty. I have to call the foul there. I know it's the fourth quarter, but I have to call that foul.
That's a flagrant one.
It's a flagrant one.
At least.
It's not only a bad joke, but it's an interrupting joke. Would you like to respond? He's looking at me with the ire I've never
But
seen
it is
from
great,
it.
like particularly in the
No,
summer.
I
and I
turned
will
my
say
headphones
this:
down.
the
They put out that
crowd-
river yet, or is
they've
it
never-
still on back down. fire? I don't wanna-
Oh, you didn't hear
I didn't want to
He
hear
didn't
it.
even listen.
I know what I did. I know what I did.
It got me so good. It got me. He turned it down. He didn't even listen.
Well,
But it is great, like particularly in the summer. And I will say this:
they
is
put
the
out that
crowd-
river
they've
yet, or is
never-
it still on fire?
Oh, God.
You got me, Holly. I heard it again. I don't want to hear it. I told you, I put 0 on all my mental health scores. Don't change that. Now I'm leaning toward a 1 now at this moment. You're pushing me toward 1 mental health episode in the last 2 weeks. I was at 0, and now I'm leaning toward 1.
It's so good.
I don't need this. I don't need this in my life.
I will say,
Let me be.
thank you for being you. Don't ever change, but change a little. Can you just change a little bit?
You guys totally missed my greatest joke yesterday during our corn tub
I heard
segment.
The Hawaiian joke. It was pretty epic. I did not give it the credit it deserved. I think I was still mad about Chris Rose. But yeah, he said, "What? What's Hawaiian?
What's the top searched term in Hawaii?" And I said, "Lay."
Patty Fence said, "Time to trade Ben to the Rockies for a pine cone." It's so brilliant.
All right, finally, some do this on a Thursday.
DD.
We had the news yesterday that Tom Hamilton was winning the Ford C. Frick Award, going into the broadcasters wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame. But when he got the news, his reaction yesterday, tugging at the heartstrings.
Well, whoever had under 15 seconds before he cries won. So, I'm sorry. I'm so humbled. I'm so grateful, and can't believe it happened because I certainly looked at that list of 10, and if you were to rank them, I would have put myself 10th. That was an incredible list of Ford Frick nominees, and I was just so honored to be a part of that list. So many of them I know and consider friends, and all of them on that list I consider superior to me. So I'm just want to offer congratulations to those gentlemen as well. And again, I know how blessed I've been and how fortunate I was to get that call today, whether it was deserving or not. I'll take it. So I'd also like to thank the committee members that voted for the Ford Frick Award. And obviously, I certainly appreciate their support and know how tough a decision that must be. But I'm very grateful for their confidence in me and for everybody at the Baseball Hall of Fame. I can't thank John enough, and Josh and Ken. They called this morning at about 11:45, and pretty special call.
Man, it gets me.
You hear the phrase false humility thrown around?
That ain't it.
That's not it. That is real, genuine humility.
Yeah.
He believed that, it was an honor to be nominated, and I'm 10th out of these 10. Wasn't even thinking he was going to get a call. And
So sweet.
that's very cool. Very cool moment, and a little don't and do this for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, your Padres did make a move yesterday in the Rule 5 draft. And not only did they make a move, might be someone you'll be seeing on the roster next year, not just hiding as well. What A.J. Preller had to say about his selection in the Rule 5 draft. We'll get to that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Five draft is basically Major League Baseball's version of buying a lottery ticket in the form of a baseball player.
Yep.
You pay $100,000 to select a prospect from another team that was not protected on their 40-man roster, who's, I think it's accumulated like 6 years of minor league service. And to keep him, you then have to have him on your major league roster for essentially the entire following season. And if you
not just your 40-man,
no,
your active 26-man roster.
So he's got to be, if he's a pitcher, he's got to be, either in your bullpen or your rotation or on your bench somewhere, and you can't send him down.
If not, he goes right back to the team.
You have to offer him back for $50,000. So you lose half your money essentially for taking a flyer. That's the lottery ticket. You scratch it off. Every once in a while, you get a player that ends up being pretty decent. Padres did it last year with Stephen Kolek. Can't say that Stephen Kolek was a major contributor to the Padres, but
a couple moments.
He was good enough to be the last guy in a bullpen.
Didn't he strike out the side with the bases loaded one time?
Made a couple of innings, had a couple of moments, and made it through enough of the season before they put him on the injured list that they now control his rights. They can both use him or send him down to the minors this year. Well, A.J. Preller took another flyer on a lottery ticket yesterday, and we will talk about the move that they made in the Rule 5 draft right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Still going to find some activity eastbound 52 near the Convoy exit. Apparently a crash and a bunch of construction barrels in the area, and they spilled some sand into the roadways, so they're having to bring in a sweeper to clear that. That's East 52 with the Convoy exit. We still have this collision on the coastline northbound 54 Oceanside Boulevard. Couple vehicles in the center divide and vehicle over to the right shoulder. The daily jackpots at Viejas Casino and Resort are on fire. Players have hit huge wins with bets as low as 50 cents. Check out their jackpot winning smiles on the Viejas Facebook page. You want to join them? Who knows? The next jackpot winner could be you. Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This segment of Ben & Woods brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football, and San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings. Try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild, smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of kick, check out the new Cajun sauce with a rich blend of spicy and tangy peppers. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go. So Padres used their pick in the Rule 5 draft. You don't have to pick anyone. You can just pass.
Yep.
They did for like 5 or 6 straight years. They just didn't select anyone.
Yeah, you feel like when you don't select someone in the Rule 5 draft, we're in a really good place. They also had a year where I think they picked 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot. When you pick 3 people off the Rule 5 draft.
Luis Torrens and a couple other guys. Yeah.
You go, oh, this is where we're at.
You know you're not really competing.
Correct.
And you're just hoping to strike gold. Well,
and you need bodies, basically.
And you need bodies. So the Padres selected a right-handed pitcher named Juan Nunez out of the Baltimore Orioles system. And not a nothing pitcher. A guy was ranked as high as number 8, I think, in their prospect list from MLB.com, number 20 from Baseball America. And that's a really good system. Remember, that is a loaded system. So the fact that he cracked their rankings means people think fairly highly of him. So why was he even available?
Yeah, not highly enough to protect, but
yeah,
when you have
a couple of reasons. You can only protect, so many guys,
Correct.
and the Orioles had too many, and they had to leave a couple of guys unprotected. He also has some injury history and risk, and has only pitched as high as single A.
What a
jump.
jump.
It would be a pretty big jump. Now, last year at high A, he posted a 2.45 ERA. Not quite as good with the fielding independent pitching numbers, but that's a really, really good ERA. But, less than a homer per 9 innings, 8.5% walk rate, 32.2% strikeout rate.
Yep.
Good numbers. Now,
Gets
you're facing single A hitters, so
Correct.
you can't really translate that to the big leagues. Throws pretty much 93 to 95 or 6.
Can get up to 96, 97.
A good swing and miss sweeper. So, is this a guy the Padres could hide in their bullpen, and keep next season? Possibly, but that's not what A.J. Preller said. Here's what he told I believe, Sammy Levitt yesterday when asked about their pick of Juan Nunez in the Rule 5 draft.
Yeah, we had a couple of Nunez's this offseason, in minor league free agency and now with the Rule 5. So, Juan Nunez from the Orioles system. It's a guy that 4-pitch mix and plus stuff. We've had multiple scouts that have seen him over the last few years, and he's been a performer. So I think checked a lot of boxes for us. Some rankings, a top 10 type prospect, and we get an opportunity to see him here in spring training and see how he fits in.
How do you characterize kind of what you've accomplished here? I know the moves haven't been there yet. What have you accomplished this week at the winter meetings?
Yeah, again, I think overall we like our group and our team. So I think it's been a lot of conversation, a lot of getting a sense of where the market is free agency wise and trade, and ultimately I think we definitely have a lot of things that we're able to do and could line up on. We'll see where it all takes us in the next couple of weeks.
How much benefit could there be to maybe waiting until the new year, waiting for the market to cool down for some of these free agent prices and seeing what's out there back, closer to spring training?
Yeah, it's again it always just depends. Each player's got a different idea of when and how much, and I think we have our valuation system on guys. So I think ultimately we'll. We keep making phone calls, seeing. Some guys go early, some guys wait. We've seen that in years past. I think we'll be prepared over the next couple of weeks. Got a better sense here this week on some guys we like, kind of how that process will work, and we'll be prepared at the right time to be competitive for certain guys.
All right, so a little bit on Nunez and a little extra there from A.J. Preller. Not in that clip, but he did say yesterday that Nunez is a starting pitcher, and he is going to be given an opportunity to compete for a job in the Padres' starting rotation at spring training.
I mean, who's not at this point?
You can always say anyone can compete. Can you realistically feel like a team that is at the level of the Padres, coming off a 93-win season, can put a single-A pitcher in their starting rotation? I mean, he'd have to really impress, I would think, in spring training. But that's the role they envision for him, a chance to compete for a starter's job for the Padres.
I'm not trying to be rude here, but I think that's just something that you say. I think that is in.
Well, what?
I think you.
What do you think is their plan actually?
Bullpen.
Just hide him in the bullpen like you did with Cole.
Oh, we're up 7. Let's see what Nunez has. Oh, we're down 7. Let's see what Nunez has.
Long man in low leverage situations.
100%.
Like Kolek was.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
In fact, you have to have those guys. So,
but
I don't have any problem with the Luis Nunez move. I wish him well and hope he pitches his tail off. And our buddy Clark posted a video yesterday of I actually got to watch him throw a little bit. And he looks great. I mean, he looks fantastic. But again, he's down in high A. So
got some bad swings, that's for sure.
He did. Get some ugly.
I saw that
swings.
same video.
Yep.
But keep in mind, and AJ Cassavell pointed this out this morning in his newsletter. You heard him in that question and answer session with AJ as well. If the Padres sign Roki Sasaki, it's almost irrelevant to the rest of their plans, because if Sasaki comes to the Padres, they're almost certainly going to need to have a 6-man rotation.
Correct.
He's used to pitching once a week. You can't just drop him in a 5-man rotation. So you're either putting together a 5-man rotation that doesn't include Sasaki or a 6-man rotation that does include
Correct.
Sasaki. He's not financially, no consideration there. So in a way, your offseason plans are almost completely unaffected.
You're right.
By Roki Sasaki. Now, it's huge if you get him.
It's massive.
But
it's
you can't. You still have to put together a 5-man starting rotation.
Yeah.
And then you just add Sasaki to it as the 6th man if you land him in January. When it's time to sign him.
Right. Exactly. And is that set in stone that he's going to be on the Yamamoto Shohei Ohtani
Nothing set
plan?
in stone.
I know that's how it works there. And I'm assuming you don't want to move too much. Hey, I'm in a new country, new culture, new team, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to stay on that same scene that I have over there.
One thing that his agent said, he's looking for an organization that's going to be able to develop him in the right way. And I would imagine that when you go into that meeting with Roki Sasaki, you're going to go, yeah, we plan to throw you every 5 days right away and, just throw you into the fire, throw you to the wolves. Or you're going to tell him, yeah, we want you, doing kind of what you did in Japan, once a week, 6-day rotation. That's going to be our plan at the beginning. And then, obviously, as you're feeling, but, more comfortable with it, we can in, future seasons or later in the year, maybe up your usage.
Yeah,
but you're going to promise him whatever he needs,
of course,
to come to your team.
Also, I'd like you to meet Roki, Ruben Niebla, who has done some really, really special things with some players. If you look up the road, you like the IL, maybe that's the spot for you. If you don't like the IL and you like pitching every 6th day with the pitching guru, welcome to San Diego, bud. Still don't think it's going to happen, but that's just the way I'm wired.
Yeah, if his truly goal is to just pitch as minimally as possible, sure, the Dodgers will be a nice place for that because they can afford to put as many other pitchers in the rotation as they want.
Correct.
If his goal is to have an impact on a team,
be a part of a rotation.
Yeah, it's the Padres would be, I think, the right selection for him, and he's going to go through that process. And again, I don't know when the decision is going to happen, but he won't sign until at least January 15th.
Correct.
So we still have a month plus of waiting for that big day.
Yeah, I guess I can't say I'm super surprised that the Padres didn't walk away, especially after seeing those, especially with pitchers. My God, as we talked about earlier, that arena is a really, really crazy and pricey arena, and you're looking around baseball at who's actually spending money, and it's typically the usual suspects. Am I wrong? I mean, the A's being the outlier because, well, they had a gun to their head from the commissioner's office that said, you have to spend some money. So they said, all right, we'll spend $68 million on Luis Severino. But for the most part, man, it's the usual suspects that are spending money right now, except us. We've been the usual suspect the last few years. It feels weird to not be spending right now.
All right, we are 2 hours in. We will come back for more Ben and Woods. Can we talk about what Joe Musgrove and Dylan Cease were up to?
Yeah.
On their Instagram feed yesterday. And we still have our Ben and Woods Wrapped, looking back at the month of June, one of our favorite moments of the year. And James Taylor tickets to give away, all coming up. Hour number 3, Ben and Woods and Eno Saris all ahead here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, our beloved friends. We are halfway home on a Thursday. It's December 12th. Just, what do we got? We got 6 more shows after today.
6.5 remaining.
And we are out of here for the new year and for the holidays and then back in the new year. I'm excited to get through it. You know, I am. And I'm really excited for the Christmas and holiday extravaganza. That's coming next Friday. Make sure you are by the dial. Unless you hate fun, laughter, friendship, if you hate all those things, it's not the show for you.
So I shouldn't bother showing.
I mean, you're really mostly only here in spirit anyway. I mean, Paulie and I do most of the heavy lifting here. You are mostly the whipping boy.
It's not my big day. I know that.
It's not your big day. Someday maybe it will be after, 7 years together. Maybe we'll see some input.
Maybe not.
You don't like my input. That's the problem. I've had input.
It's a catch-22 for me because I want his input, but I don't like his ideas. And that's the tough part for me. Something I have to reconcile.
You do have to
within
reconcile
myself.
that.
I do. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. That's Ben Higgins.
My contribution is going along with your contributions without major pushback most of the time.
Without major pushback. I tried something last year. I wanted to do the meat wheel, and Adam wouldn't let me do the meat wheel. And I still...
You still want to do the meat wheel.
I still want to do the meat wheel. And where it those like torture devices where you get strapped onto a big wooden... My vision is we strap Ben, but it was Adam who I wanted to put in the meat wheel.
Oh, and no wonder it got denied.
Is that a Catherine wheel, like the band?
I think maybe, yeah. So you put him on the wheel, and you spin it around, and he's like all dizzy, and then we just throw meat at him. And I don't mean like hard ribeyes and stuff. I mean like just like little pieces of ham and stuff. Just
cold cuts,
salamis, little thin slices. For some reason, the meat wheel makes me laugh.
You may be the only person, though. This is personal comedy.
I would also get on the meat wheel.
Still, again, you may be the only person laughing.
You don't think it's funny to spin me around and you guys throw ham at me?
Like Letterman-esque, like something I think Dave would think was funny.
Johnny says small balls of ground beef.
I mean, if that's the bar, Letterman funny,
then
I'd say it's pretty funny.
I'd say that's a pretty good bar to shoot for. Paul Semigvini says the meat wheel's hilarious. I'll do the meat wheel. We have some ideas this year for meat. There's a meat segment, perhaps.
Meat segment.
Yeah.
Got something in the works. Yeah, I would really like to do the meat wheel, but it was kibosh. I got the kibosh from Adam last year. So anyway, those are the kind of... If you pitched it like that, you're going to be on the meat wheel, Adam. I can understand why.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you'd have to be in some sort of like Speedo / banana hammock.
Why?
It's because it's funnier.
That's funnier.
Yes.
Because you want the meat to stick. Because you're really hoping the meat sticks.
Yeah, I just think it's funny. But
I think ultimately the meat is just going to fall to the ground.
It doesn't matter.
It won't be as funny.
I think it's funny to have tier ones and us throw meat at people. I just think that's funny. I don't know why. It's just been this like nagging vision in my head. Now, an idea, what you want to talk about right now, that's also something that we could potentially do.
Absolutely. Under no circumstances.
On the Christmas and holiday extravaganza.
Will we ever do this as a bit? In no way.
You wanted to involvement.
I will contribute, and I will not push back on many things. I would push back so hard on this to the point that I would probably quit before I participated in what I saw yesterday. So who was it? Joe Musgrove, Dylan Cease,
Brent Honeywell.
Brent Honeywell was there, and I assume were they in Vegas? Somewhere at a big event, and they were at good seats, like second, third row. And it was, what do they call it? The slap fighting, the face slapping championship.
You brought this to the table. I have no idea. All I saw was a picture of 4 dudes being bros drinking Michelob Ultra at the bar. That's all I saw.
He said, Vegas. He did.
They call it power slap. It's a competition where basically 2 people stand in front of each other and take turns, open hand, slapping each other on the face as hard as possible.
So I think they were at UFC. They went to UFC, and then I think that was like the opening. The opening.
Yeah.
The opening band.
Unlike boxing, no headgear is allowed. Defenders cannot duck to avoid
it's part of the UFC.
blows.
Okay.
Even flinching is banned.
Oh, God.
Opponents are scored based on the amount of damage they inflict and how well they cope with getting slapped themselves.
Paulie just put one in the chat, and
That's
the guy.
the one. That's
the one.
Joe's Instagram.
Oh, that's Joe. Okay. What's the powder that comes off the guy's hand?
I think they chalk up their hands or something.
For what?
So it's not all
So it's
sweaty.
not all sweaty. All right, slap me.
No!
Lightly.
No,
Just as lightly.
no.
Like,
Yeah, what if you slap
I'm not going to
Woods?
do it.
Nobody's going to slap
I'm not going
you.
to do it.
Go.
No, I'm not
Come
going
on.
to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Lightly.
So let me tell you this. Anytime you slap someone else, you're going to then have to be slapped
I'm not
back.
gonna slap you, I promise.
I don't want to be
I do
slapped
enough
back.
for you. I'm not going to. Oh, you son of a bitch. He hit me in the jaw.
Where was I supposed to
In
hit you?
the cheek.
I don't know how to do this.
He got me under the jawbone. And it was quick, and I wasn't expecting it.
You told me to do it.
God.
He did. Yeah, that was a weird slap.
Well, he
See,
got
I
me
can't
right in
even
the
slap
jaw.
myself without it like hurting badly. I am such a flincher too. There's
are
no
a
way
flincher.
unless I was like strapped down and could not move. I would flinch. I'd be the worst. You could offer me $20 million and say if you just take one of those slaps
One of those pro
without
slaps?
flinching, one of those pro slaps, we will give you $20 million
BS, you're
right
doing
there.
it.
I would want to do it. I could not physically do it. I
would have to.
I
You
would
think
no.
you'd
I would
vomit
flinch.
from
No,
anxiety?
I'd flinch. If you flinch, you don't get the money, and I would not be able to hold still.
That dude
No
slapped
chance.
the fire out of that guy, man.
I mean, $20 million. Yeah.
Somebody
I don't
said-
know. It would be tough to not flinch.
Bro, you just close your eyes. You hold on to the thing and you close
Do they
your
close
eyes.
their eyes? I don't feel
You'd
like they're
have
closing
to.
their eyes in the actual competition.
You just close your eyes and go, this is going to suck for about 30 minutes. And then I'm $20 million richer.
Man, the guy takes it and then wags his finger,
His finger.
at the other guy. It's
God,
insane.
Dang, dude.
As you can imagine, this is a problematic sport. They do worry about things like brain injury and concussions. CTE is definitely a concern.
That
in
is.
power slap.
Dana White, this was his deal. I said it was actually. Adam says this was actually on TV. It was so bad, the ratings dipped that they took it off of TV. I can't watch. I can barely watch UFC, man.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough for me. I have a weak stomach. I really do. Is that okay? Let's analyze me for a sec. Hannah will walk in the room and go, "What are you watching?" And I go, fighting. Like two kids in school fighting.
Like a YouTube video of
like
fighting.
there's Twitter feeds. It's like best fights, and I'm addicted. And it'll be like, "What's up, dude? You did this to my girl."
Two
and then
high school
two
kids
guys
in a
that beat the
cafeteria,
crap.
yeah.
I can't get enough. I watch it for 45 minutes straight. I just go next. You put a UFC fight on, I'm like, like I don't know what's the difference.
Between that and power slap?
No, between those two versions of fighting. Like I can't watch a UFC, but I can watch like a street fight that somebody catches on camera.
Seems like at least with the UFC, they're getting paid and they want to be there.
They signed up voluntarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. They voluntarily wanted to fight. I don't know what it is, but I can watch those all day long. But I put on a UFC fight. I think it's also, you know what else? It's the kicking. When they do the kick to the shin, it makes my paunch just swell up, and I'm like, oh, I can't watch this. But you see some guy like, what's up, dude? Wham! And punch somebody, I'm all in.
Now, I promise you, if Joe Musgrove texts and say, hey, I got an extra seat, you want to come with me, sit at the fight, you'd go with it.
I'm going to say this. I'll say this. If Joe Musgrove texted me to do anything, I'd probably say yes. That is the one thing, if he said, I got front row thing to UFC, and it's not because I wouldn't want to go. It's because he would be like, "Geez, dude, you're kind of weak." Because I would be sitting there like I'd be a wreck.
I think it's fairly obvious that most of the professional athletes we cover would find us very unimpressive. They spent a lot of time with us.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's do the flip side of that coin. Come on in here. Jake Cronenworth, Joe Musgrove. Here's a mic. Get after it. Get out. We're so dumb. We don't know. We never played. Do this
I think Jake could come in and do a halfway decent show.
for
Oh,
seven
I
minutes.
mean, the first day would be struggle.
Yeah.
But, give him some practice. Give him a couple reps. He'd be there.
JH619 says, maybe reach out to some MMA fighters out here and take a leg kick.
No.
No, this is not Jackass.
We'll do that at the extravaganza.
This is not Jackass. That's something that would give me anxiety. My little skinny legs. Now, you would be a perfect fit for a leg kick. I don't even think they'd hurt you.
You know, the bigger they come, the harder they fall.
That's
and
true,
hurt.
but you have a lot more sinew.
I mean, if I bang my shin on something, it's
still
utter agony.
Yeah. Dominic says Jake will come in. Shout out Michigan. Shout out Wolverines. Shout out everybody. Shout out my fiance Brooklyn. Yeah, he got 4 minutes in it. Yeah, those guys are bros, man. They went out and they did their thing and they went to the MMA fights, and more power to them. I think it's great. I think it's great for them. Good bonding experience, whatever. It's not for me.
That power slap though is
It is
gnarly.
something, dude.
is
Brandon
gnarly.
says if Musgrove asked me to go see Morgan Wallen, would I go? No, that's two things I probably wouldn't go to Joe Musgrove with. Nope.
Keep watching it on our YouTube stream.
Yeah, it is. It's really something, dude. Oh God, he slaps the.
They have a catcher. So a guy
behind
stands
him.
behind the person who's about to get slapped. I'm assuming if you lose consciousness and just fall straight to the ground, that he's supposed to catch you like a trust fall.
Yeah.
Like he's your trust fall guy. If you black out when you get slapped in the face, he's there to catch you as you fall.
Yeah.
Any sport that needs someone to catch you if you fall unconscious is an extreme sport.
It's tough, dude. It's tough. I have a lot of respect for I did that boxing gym for a long time that I really liked, Art of Eight, and there was a professional kickboxer MMA guy that trained in there. I've never seen anything like it. Never. I've never seen anybody punch harder, kick, do all be athletic. I have an ultimate amount of respect for them. I just can't watch it. It's just not something I can physically watch without getting nauseous.
Balsamic Vinny says, do that tortilla slap challenge.
What is that?
We saw it. We talked about it before, where they take a tortilla and slap people in the face with it. And obviously, that's not going to do any, permanent damage. But that's the pain that I really hate. The stinging sensation, of the actual slap. Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much.
How many times have you been slapped in your life?
I don't accidentally.
Accidentally?
I don't think I've ever been accidentally slapped.
Slapped before? Hannah's never got me. I don't think I've been slapped.
You with your mouth?
No.
You've never been
I've
slapped?
been punched, but I've never been slapped. Who slaps you? Some dude's not going to slap me,
No.
right? Have you been slapped
female,
by
I
a
would think.
woman? Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Ben's like, I hate that feeling of being
You
slapped.
didn't make a crass comment and got slapped in the face?
Sure, I
Apparently
did.
you
Like in a
have.
sitcom?
Apparently you have. It all comes out. I bet it doesn't feel good. I wouldn't know.
Gnarly. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we turn the clock back to June for our Ben and Woods Wrapped segment. And Bo Woods is going to make an appearance today.
Little angel.
This was actually one of the more fun moments
So
we
good.
had in the year. Very impressive. We're also going to give away some tickets to James Taylor in concert, and then bottom of the hour, Eno Saris will join us to help wrap up baseball's winter meetings, talk about the Padres maybe converting his favorite stuff guy, Adrien Morejon, to a starting pitcher. All that coming up after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, here we go.
Black 17 on.
That is my number.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, here we go.
Black 17 on.
That is my number.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
I want to thank our Sammy Levitt again for his outstanding coverage the last few days. Not his fault that A.J. Preller didn't make any major moves, but the coverage was top-notch.
I don't even know that it's A.J. Preller's fault that he didn't make
Nah,
any
not
major
really.
moves either. You know, I don't know if who to assign the blame to necessarily, but you are dead right. Sammy Levitt, show off, MVP, man. Just killed it out there. Is he back?
I don't know if he flew back last night. My guess would be that if he wasn't going to be on today, Adam would want him to fly back to save a hotel night.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm assuming he came back.
Hey, can you rent a car actually and drive back? Can you catch a ride with
Probably
someone?
more expensive actually at this point.
Like checkout was probably 10 a.m. yesterday. Sammy still had business.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about too.
Can you just bring your
carry it around?
Can you
with
bring your luggage down? They'll usually watch it behind the counter if you just leave it there.
I mean, it's just smart. It's smart business traveling to not pay for an extra hotel night if you don't need
Sammy's
it.
like, I can rent a locker. And he's like, can I get reimbursed? Fine.
Okay.
For $3.
Adam playing blackjack is still one of my favorite bits of all time. Hit me. Double down.
Can I split those?
I just had a stroke. Hit me. Sammy crushed it out there. And now, I look at that and the way that I'm wired, I go, well, we better bring the noise when we're out at fantasy camp because Sammy just crushed it. So, yeah, well done. He also didn't sound like he was at his best, man. He sounded like he was a little under the weather and still went out there and was a part of
travel,
everything.
and then you
dude,
go
it kicks your ass.
at indoor at a giant hotel and breathing that recirculated air for days.
It's just not.
No one's going to be at their best.
It's not as glamorous as you think it is being out at the Anatole for 72 hours and talking to a bunch of baseball nerds, man.
Speaking of great jobs, Paulie does a fantastic job in scouring through our entire year to come up with our Ben and Woods Wrapped at the end of the year. We go month by month, like what were some of our favorite moments? We've hit the month of June. And in June, I believe, what was the school year had ended, and you needed to bring...
Yeah.
They weren't in camps yet, so you needed to bring Bo by for at least a day.
Yep.
And he's an impressive young man.
He is.
There's no doubt about that. He's a passionate baseball fan.
Passionate sports fan.
And as knowledgeable, I think, as any 6-year-old I've met about the San Diego Padres.
I coach a lot of kids, and the first thing their dads always say to me about Bo and his ability on the field is they're like, bro, he is really, really good. And they said, well, how did you do it? And I go, 2 things. Number 1, he wants it. So he wants to practice. So that's innate, whatever. Like, that's just in him. I said, the other thing, and I'll tell this to every parent listening with young kids, if you want your kids to be good at a sport, it's not rocket science. Have them watch the sport. As much as they can do it, have them watch the sport. He watches full games with me, and he has since he was 3 years old. He lays right in the crook of my arm, and he asks questions, and he follows along. He loves Mud and Don and Jesse, and he loves the game of baseball because he watches it all the time. So that's really like the secret. Have your kids watch the game. It's the best way to learn.
So we put up Bo against a Tier 1 in a little Padres trivia challenge, player numbers and such. And I will assure you, this was absolutely fair. I did not tip the scales one way or another.
On his life, yeah.
100% legit.
This clip picks up right after we had the caller go first, kind of like take on Woods, and I think he got 5 or 6 out of the 8. And we were playing for Padres tickets. This wasn't for the Vegas qualifier. We had a pair of Padres tickets to give away to a game in June. And I believe the caller's name was Neil. And here's how Bo did against Neil.
So 6 is the number here. Let's see. We'll bring Wood. Hang on the line there, Neil. We'll bring back the Woodses. The Woods or the Woodses?
I still don't
The
know.
Woods.
I still
The
really
Woods
don't
family has returned. Get the headphones on Bo.
This mic calling?
Get the microphone is all set up for him.
Say hi, Bo.
All right. So Neil's score is locked in. Now, Bo, again, just do the best you can with the same 10 questions. You ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. What number does Manny Machado wear?
13.
Correct. Which Padres player wears lucky number 7?
Hassan Kim.
Correct. Which Padres player wears the number 1?
Yuki Ratsui.
Correct. Which Padres player wears the number 2?
Xander Bogaerts.
Correct. Which Padres player wears the number 3?
Jackson Miller.
Correct. Which number does pitcher Randy Vasquez wear?
Pass.
Which Padres catcher wears the number 20?
Kylie Gashu.
Correct. Of David Peralta or Fernando Tatis Jr., who wears the higher number?
David Peralta.
That is correct. Which Padres player wears the number 84?
Dylan Cease.
Correct. Which Padres player wears the same number Blake Snell wore last season?
Luis Suarez.
Yes!
Bro, he smoked Neil.
8-6. Bo is our champion. Neil, you know what? I don't want. Let's give him the tickets anyway.
You give him to Neil?
Yeah,
Is that
let's
okay
give
with
him to
you,
Neil
Bo?
just for playing.
Can you want Neil to have the
Neil
tickets
have your
anyway,
tickets, please?
even though he lost?
You get to go to
Yes.
games with your dad. All
Look
right,
at
Neil.
you.
You're on the air with Bo Woods. If you want to congratulate him, go ahead, Neil. But he got you today.
Congratulations, Bo. Well done. You spanked
Thank
me.
you.
But just for playing, Neil, Bo's going to give you his tickets.
Look at that. You gave him your
to the
ticket.
Padres
Neil,
game
just hang on the line
for
for a
tomorrow.
minute.
So
for tomorrow night.
generous.
So Neil, hang on the line.
What a kid, man. What a kid he
What
is.
really impressed me
awesome.
was the last one where he had to go 2 levels. Like, okay, now Blake Snell wore
number
what?
4.
And then, okay,
Yep.
who's wearing it this year? Oh, it's a rise. And he got it. And you could see the wheels turning.
Yep.
And then the light going off in his head as it happened.
It's so funny too because that was just last June, and his voice has changed so much in a short amount of time. Tears in my eyes listening to that.
Now
and
he
watching
sounds
it.
like this.
What up, Dad?
Sandra Bogarts.
Yeah, Sandra Bogarts. So sweet, so sweet.
I remember when my oldest his voice actually changed.
It's so weird.
And you know, he had his phone, and he still had the old message, like with the the kid voice.
Yeah.
But his real voice then sounds more like me now.
Yeah.
And I remember the day he switched it, and I was like so sad, like
It's
his
heartbreaking.
childhood is gone.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, Taylor literally grew an inch like overnight one day. We like woke up and had measured him out. She's like, hey, I think he grew an inch. I'm like, it's weird because you want them to, you're like, all right, let's get older, start doing more stuff and whatever. But it's also like, nah, I kind of miss when you were a sweet little baby like that.
I just turned 34 a couple of months ago. Most of my friends right around
You grew
that
an inch
age.
that morning.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But I've noticed, especially this time of year, getting holiday cards from friends who have now started like families and they have
Crazy.
kids. Like I got my buddy, he's got an 8-year-old daughter now, and I've known her whole life, obviously. But I've known her as the little tiny girl.
Hi, Paul.
And they sent us their holiday card this year. I got it a couple of days ago, and I looked at it, and I like almost started crying.
Yeah,
I'm like,
dude.
I can see like bone structure in her face. I'm
Yes.
like, that looks like a young woman.
Young
I'm
woman.
like, what the hell is going on? I'm
Bo
like,
also looks like a young woman.
When do we get bone structure in our face?
Paulie, I've been waiting for bone structure for 49 years. I may
people are just blessed, I guess.
have to pay for bone structure in my face, actually. It doesn't matter how much weight I lost. It just stays
but I
right
saw
here.
that card. I go, oh, I'm getting to that age now where I'm like, oh, you've gotten so big since last time I saw you.
Crazy,
And-
man.
Oh, God, it's
Crazy. Even his
wild.
little voice, Xander Bogart. It's so cute.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll have We'll head into July for Ben and Woods Wrap tomorrow, Friday, as we wrap up the week, and then a second half of the year next week as we count down our final shows. Eno Saris, I don't know if he's still at the winter meetings, but he's been at the winter meetings, and we'll have his update, his smart baseball take on it, an off-season visit with Eno from The Athletic, coming up next here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Yeah, finally. I got the call. Like, Eno's ready to go. Let's get going. And then, of course, Black Betty comes on, and I broke the rule already once.
Yeah, we had
you
7 years of bad luck.
You don't talk over Black Betty.
No, ever.
So let's just get now right to our friend Eno Saris from The Athletic, post Black Betty, as we wrap up the winter meetings, which officially wrap up today, although it's usually just people checking out of the hotels and heading back to their respective cities. Eno Saris, good morning. It is good to talk to you again.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm burnt to a crisp.
As you always are at the end.
I wondered, man, like when Paulie goes, I heard back from Eno, I went, oh, yes. And then I went, oh, man, it's probably the last it's probably the last thing I'd want to do is talk more baseball with a bunch of morons, but I can't tell you how much we appreciate it, dude. And I know
you're my favorite moron.
Thank you, man. You're our favorite. You're like our favorite guest too. So, well, how did it go out there? It certainly was no shortage of activity for the usual suspects in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it was taxing on the voice. Was potting, through it all, and there was so much to talk about, and the late nights didn't help. But yeah, no, it was it was a lot of fun. I think that the Juan Soto deal happening on Sunday the way it did really unlocked the rest of the winter meetings. It was one of the more exciting winter meetings I can remember in recent history. Maybe not for Padres fans. There wasn't a ton of meat on that bone, but at least there was a lot of cool stuff happening nationally and a lot of movement. At least the haves, flex their muscles and sign some big deals.
After dead winter meetings last year, other than the Juan Soto trade, what do you think is sparking this? Was it Scott Boris's failures last offseason and a change in strategy, or do you feel like it's just kind of the circumstances and the dominoes and how they happen to be falling this year?
Well, I definitely saw a lurch forward in, it's sort of nerdy, but the price of a win. It's like the price per production.
Yeah.
It's not your imagination that the deals are bigger. It's they're spending more, and that means if they're spending more per win, why? That's the big question that you're asking. It's like sort of about, I think, being fully free of COVID and in the middle of a CBA, in terms of financial strength, baseball has never had more fans and never had more money coming in. And, overall, and that's why I also said the haves. So the teams that have good TV deals and good situations, they feel like right now baseball's in a good spot. It's a good time to spend. So we're seeing inflation, and dollars per win are up to about maybe $12 million per win. It was like $9 million 2 or 3 years ago. So maybe it has to do with inflation, generally, in the world. So for whatever reason, that's what's happening. But I also think there's an undercurrent of the have-nots being pretty quiet. The teams that are losing their local TV channels, they aren't necessarily the ones signing Max Fried and signing Juan Soto to these huge deals. So it may look like overall the sport is super healthy, but there are still some pockets of question marks about what's going to happen in a post like RSN world. Like, what are we going to do once Bally's is gone or whatever, And I think maybe some teams are feeling like, well, MLB's going to run it. We've seen them do it in a couple places, and it works out okay.
So it feels like a little bit, talking to Eno Saris here on Ben and Woods, the teams that do have those big deals, the teams that are, flush with cash or can withstand the punches, are saying, yeah, great time to strike, while teams like the Padres are in a bit of a chokehold. Obviously we've made some noise the last few years, and good time to strike and then you got your usual teams like Seattle, like how they're not spending money on offense.
Exactly.
It makes me insane. The one I wanted to ask you about, and I did a little mini rant on it earlier. I was watching MLB Network yesterday, and they're talking about, well, Kyle Tucker is going to be shipped from the Astros, and it breaks my brain, It breaks my brain. Houston is the 5th largest market, I think, in the country. They've won championships. Paulie had the idea. He said, so is this just their typical, we're just going to recycle back instead of giving him, $400 million or whatever? It doesn't make sense to me that a guy like Kyle Tucker is going to be moved with 1 year left to control.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a school of thought that you just don't like these long-term contracts because you get locked in. And to some extent, you're seeing some of that in San Diego, that's part of the reason we're here. So there's some owners that are just philosophically against it. There's a source saying right now that Mike Elias and, the Pitcher List have an article about this, that Mike Elias has the green light to spend and isn't doing so.
It's so frustrating.
What's happening in Houston is the same thing where, we'll do these mid-level deals, but we're not into the really long ones. And if we are not into the really long ones, maybe especially for Fromber, who's apparently on the block too, if we're not into long deals for pitchers, or we're not into these $400 million mega deals, then we need to trade him now to make sure we have something after next year. I kind of agree with you that it seems stupid. He's homegrown and produced by your
elite player.
So it's unfortunate, but that's how some teams, I guess, think that they're going to be perpetually successful. So when you see it in San Diego and you see that downside, you understand. But also San Diego's, you feel like it's getting better every year. The Padres are getting better every year. And they doesn't seem like they would do this. They obviously wouldn't. They locked up Tatis for a long time. So maybe it's just a philosophical thing. I don't think it's necessarily financial in like they can't afford him next year or they can't afford that deal. It's more, they don't think, any player should be locked in for that much money for that long.
That's tough.
Talking to, Sarah's from The Athletic, and, the teams that can't spend a lot of money are looking for other ways to get creative, including the San Diego Padres. And A.J. Preller kind of floated the idea of converting some of the team's relievers into starters next year.
Oh, this is why we wanted you on.
One of the names that was mentioned was one Adrien Morejon, who had a really good season out of the Padres bullpen.
My adoptive son.
Yes.
What do you think of maybe the potential experiment now to see how that works in the starting rotation going forward?
I mean, I think he has all the tools to do it. He's over time developed, the two fastballs, the changeup to go with the breaking ball. It's a wide enough arsenal. He has enough stuff to deal with a loss of stuff. The only problem I think that anybody brings up, of course, is he's had a hard time staying healthy. But, I wonder if I think there's some guys that, it's easier to keep healthy on more of a 5-day strict schedule than necessarily, you're out there now, you're out there now, you're out there now. So I don't know. I think they should try it, and they're going to have to figure something out, especially the rumor that Dylan Cease is on the block is maybe a way to get under the luxury tax. And, they don't necessarily have a lot of pieces they can trade that would save them money and also get them something back. I think maybe Cronenworth is something they could discuss. I don't think they would get much back, but they could get the cost savings on him. They could trade Arias because it's a 1-year deal, but I think AJ loves Arias, and I think fans do too. So I don't think that's going to be the first choice.
Well, like anybody. Some fans do, some fans don't. Some fans don't get it, some fans do get it. Some fans, I don't know. It's I don't want to get to the point again where we're rooting for financial flexibility like Red Sox fans have had to endure the last 5 years. They did go out and get their guy yesterday, who I love. I watched Garrett Crochet pitch last year. I understand that there are concerns. I understand that there are innings concerns, elbow concerns, whatever. Man,
but he's
unreal.
Put together more innings.
Yes.
He also put together more innings than he ever had, more on this 5-day schedule rather than this reliever schedule. So he's kind of an example of somebody that, maybe you get more out of him if you, really, have a nice schedule like that. And I think there's even more upside with Crochet in the future. He started throwing a sinker at the end of the season. And he has such a really good, 2-pitch pairing in the 4-seam and cutter that, the more pitches he can add, that's going to really give him longevity in the game.
He's nasty, man. Nasty. What did you think of the return? The return was obviously, again, based on prospect rankings and everything else. I saw, like you always see with every trade, oh my God, White Sox got fleeced. Oh my God, Red Sox got fleeced. Blah, blah, blah. It feels like a win for both teams. With the White Sox, I was reading what a scout said about one of the players, and he said, all you got to do is give this guy a bat and some cleats, and he's going to be fine. Doesn't matter if he goes to the White Sox, the Marlins, whatever.
It might be an important part of it.
That's kind of what I thought. But they said, one of the guys was can't miss. They really liked the catcher that they got back, Teal, I believe his name was. But for you, that's 4 top prospects. But they still didn't give away their best 3 prospects in Boston. So that anytime you can do that and get a pitcher like Crochet, that's what I look. AJ Preller's been great at doing that.
Yeah. It did have sort of some of the makings of an AJ Preller deal. Braden Montgomery, maybe the prospect you're talking about.
That's the one.
I got to see him at Stanford for a couple of years, and he was a big fan. My kids were a big fan of his, and just a really athletic guy that I think is, maybe we don't know if he'll reach the ceiling, but the floor should be at least a regular. And that's important. They need players.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to get one of the top prospects, they should get guys that are closer to, to making it and being productive. So, one of the rumors one of the things I'd heard was that, the Phillies had put forward a package that was headlined by a shortstop, and Justin Crawford. Justin Crawford is a really polarizing guy that some people think it's no way he's going to make it, and other people think he's going to grow into his body and be, kind of a 5-tool guy. So The one thing that kind of caught my eye was that the headliner of this deal for Crochet is that if a catcher, after they got a catcher for Giolito, maybe that doesn't matter. You can never have too many catchers, but
we barely have
if I'd
any.
had the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You guys had none. I would, if I'd had the choice though, I might have taken, if they were all equal, I would have taken a package head by a shortstop. They can either be the shortstop or, be an elite right fielder or, whatever.
As
The
we know,
Padres
yeah.
have always been like, let's have 10 shortstops and, eventually we'll have none.
Last thing for me, Roki Sasaki is no longer a hypothetical. He's coming, and based on what Joel Wolf said at the meetings this week, I am at least cautiously optimistic and excited that San Diego is definitely a place he could be coming to. What's your evaluation? I mean, we've heard the breathless takes on his stuff and his splitter and his velocity and his movement. What do your numbers kind of say about the kind of pitcher you think he's going to be wherever he does end up landing?
If you look at a 3-year history of his strikeout minus walk rates, you'd be the best Japanese pitcher to come over at any moment. He'd be better than any of the ones that came before. The one thing is that's a 3-year snapshot. He took his stuff, maybe due to injury, took a downturn last year. That would push him all the way by strikeouts minus walks down to like second or third all time among Japanese pitchers. So he's still really good. It's just there are some question marks because he used to sit, kind of. We saw him sit in the WBC, sit like 99 miles per hour, literally. And now he's sort of already down to maybe 97, 96 plus. Still pretty good velo. But it does highlight some questions about his durability, his health, what his current state is. And maybe that is a little bit of a window to differentiate yourself as the Padres team away from the Dodgers, because right now the one sort of thing that doesn't work in LA is keeping their guys healthy. And if he sees that, then maybe that's an opportunity as well as his relationship with Yu Darvish. So.
Because we need someone to replace Joe Musgrove, who's hurt. So perfect.
Yeah, but at least San Diego isn't like, oh yes, we're the most hurt team.
No, that's true.
Correct.
That's true.
We have an entire rotation on the IL at all moments.
Maybe an IV, some fluids.
Yes.
Take care of yourself the next couple of days.
One of your famous sandwiches. Yeah, you know what to do.
Yeah, salt and water.
That's right.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Eno Saris from The Athletic on the tail end of the winter meetings. Feeling it, obviously, but appreciate him joining us. We'll wrap that up quickly after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Scratchers from the California Lottery. Give the gift of play this holiday. Collision in the East County, westbound 8 past Los Coaches. Those vehicles are in the center divide. Also West 52 before the 15. 2-vehicle accident over to the right shoulder. Fort El Quidel traffic cam shows a collision and clearing stage on southbound 15 just before Via Rancho Parkway. If you're looking for the perfect gift, give Scratchers from the California Lottery. With so many to choose from, you're sure to find the right gift for anyone on your list. Give the gift of Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Adrien Morejon's agent is Dan Lozano, but honestly, it could be Eno Saris.
100%. And let's be honest, probably should be.
It really,
I mean, I don't hear Dan Lozano on this radio station extolling the virtues of Adrien Morejon. I do hear Eno Saris.
On a weekly basis during the season.
And listen, if there's one guy I trust, I mean, honestly, like if I have a question on a player, that's the guy I go to. The guy knows everything about all these players, and he speaks it in such a way that even morons like us can understand it. And that's why I will always love Eno Saris.
Now, keep in mind, Adrien Morejon is in his final year of control. He's not expected to break the bank arbitration-wise around $2 million, I believe. In fact, he already signed it, I think. He's good to go. Yeah. But I think he's a free agent after 2025 as well. So if you convert him to a starter and it works out really, really well, guess what a left-hander who throws, 97, 98 with great secondary pitches, who had a really good season starting, is going to cost on the open market next offseason, given the price tag we've seen some of the pitchers this year.
Yeah.
He'll be the next Garrett Crochet.
Yeah.
That's the good and then the drawback of converting Adrien Morejon here.
Would have liked
You
that.
might not be able to afford him.
You'd have
You
liked-
want to extend him now
You
before
would
you.
have liked that development to go a little quicker.
I mean, do you want to think about extending him now before you convert him into being a starter?
I think
And
it's a thought.
If
Yeah.
it works out, you have made a really savvy move in advance.
He's betting.
And if it doesn't, you're probably overpaying for a reliever for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and he tells you, no, I want to bet on myself. Okay, great. And if he says, no, I'll take the security of a $10 million a year deal for the next 5 years. All right, fine. See what we can get.
You know, he had his signing bonus money, which is pretty good if
Yeah.
I remember,
Yeah, it was very
but
good.
not rest of your life
Yeah.
sort of stuff. So he's looking for his big deal. Yeah, they didn't even think of that part of the equation. All right, we'll come back. Rindle report, Bill Belichick, a polarizing decision to go to North Carolina, and more coming up here on Ben and Woods. I appreciate the correction in the chat, and I did confirm Adrien Morejon does have 2 years of control left. His situation is kind of unique because he's only been in the major leagues. Last season was his only essentially full season, so you think, well, he's got a ton of time, but because of all the time he spent on the injured list, he was accruing salary. He actually has over 4 years of accruals, but he won't get to 6 until after the 2026 season. So the Padres do have 2 more years of control. Doesn't really change the nature of the question. If you think that Adrien Morejon is going to be a starter this year and be an effective one, does it make some sense to try to lock him up long-term before he knows he's going to be a successful left-handed starter and is going to break the bank in 2 years? But it does lower some of the urgency to that question with 2 years of eligibility left. And bless you as well.
I didn't hear one thing you said because I was just focusing on this incoming
getting it out or keeping it in.
No, waiting for it.
Here it comes again. Another one. Look at the light. You've got plenty of them to look at. Here it comes. There you go.
Bless you.
Is it the temperature variation from extremely cold in here to extremely warm outside our studio? Is that causing a problem?
I don't know.
I got my flu shot yesterday,
You did?
but I feel okay.
Why did I break out in hives at 3 o'clock this morning also? What is happening to me? Is this the end of Ben
Psychosomatic.
Is it time for Ben and Paul? Am I going on the IL?
Again?
Again, for a long time.
Hopefully not.
Oh, man. All right, I'm ready now. What were you saying?
I was saying that Adrien Morejon still has 2 more years of control, but doesn't change the question about if you think he's going to be a successful starter, do you want to pay for that now or wait until he already is one and then you can't afford it anymore?
So glad that I do not have to make those decisions. I really
I mean, we
glad.
talked yesterday. Padres are probably kicking themselves that they didn't sign Michael King.
Correct.
To a contract extension.
Like right when you got him.
Yeah, last year at spring training after you got him. He was probably more amenable to what would look like a team-friendly deal. Now, not much of a reason for Michael King to sign a long-term contract for anything less than market value at this point. Yeah, maybe a little discount for this year, but otherwise, he probably wants to play out this season and be one of these guys like Corbin Burns and Blake Snell and Max Fried who are hitting free agency next year and getting just an insane amount of money. And he's not even, his age, he's going to be primed for free agency, in the off season. Just saw the rumors this morning. Corbin Burns seems to be closing in with the San Francisco Giants.
Don't like that.
Potentially another superstar coming to the NL West.
Is there another division in baseball that could maybe sign some players?
To be fair, some stay in the AL East. The rest of them come to the NL West.
The coasts are. What are the Phillies doing? Have they done anything? Jordan Romano. Jordan Romano was their big ad. Yeah, it's again. You're talking about teams on the brink here, teams on the cusp. The Seattle Mariners. What are you doing with the best rotation potentially in baseball, the most quality starts?
I saw they're looking to deal Luis Castillo.
It's just what a stupid game. It's just dumb.
To Boston, by the way, is what the rumor was.
Just a dumb game. Well, we got this kid coming up through single A we like, and I know we have the best rotation in base. Let's get rid of Castillo. I know we need offense, but it's just moronic. It's such a dumb game sometimes, and it's hard. It's hard. I really like when the season starts because then you can just focus on the actual games on the field. This is the stuff that makes my hair fall out.
It's not the only dumb game, though. College football has become a pretty dumb game as well, and a pretty big name is jumping in head first. Let's get to it. It's time for the Roundel Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Roundel Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Roundel Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
Woodsy just fixed the Padres' entire future during the intro to the Roundel Report. It is a longer intro,
Didn't take
but
long at all, though.
all he did was he just realigned baseball.
Yep.
into 4-team divisions, and the Padres will be competing every year against the Rockies, the A's, and the Angels.
Yeah. Yeah, Curtis said, can we move to the AL West? And I said, where do I sign? I'll give you a pint of blood, whatever you want.
The Angels.
You want bone marrow?
4-team divisions, A's, Angels, Rockies, Padres.
Done.
Really, that it looks like a path to the playoffs right there.
Yeah, except for the Rockies are in our division.
That's true.
Battle us so well. But, man, it's just so... Yeah, Edgar said the game isn't dumb. It's the business side. Bro, 1,000%. Like I said, when the first pitch happens of the season, you've never seen a happier camper than your old pal Woodsy, watching every game I can get my hands on. I love it so much.
Maybe we can throw in Las Vegas or Portland's expansion
Sure,
team.
absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely. We'll take
Dodgers, Giants, Diamondbacks, Mariners. You get your own division. You're fine.
No, that would actually be a really good division.
Rangers, you can be in that division with them.
Sure.
Alrighty. Benny, you teased it. We've been talking about this story now for a few days. As it's been coming to fruition, it was official. Now it's official. The North Carolina has officially put it out there that Bill Belichick is going to be the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels football program on a 5-year contract, reportedly worth $50 million. He is 72 years old. He'll be 77.
Sprightly 77
when this
he's
contract comes up. They just fired Mac Brown this week and moved quickly to who was, I think, what was he, a year older than Bill Belichick? So they got some young blood there.
Yeah, got young blood in, fresh blood.
I guess if you guys have any thoughts, go for it. I would just ask you, how does this work out, do you think?
I'm really fascinated because I don't care about North Carolina football at all in the slightest, really, other than it's the Dion effect of like, all right, this was really interesting to watch how this played out in Colorado.
They went 6-6 this last season here. In
Yeah.
the ACC.
Yeah, I'm. It's just
How does he work with college kids?
Because he has the cachet. We don't know anything about Bill Belichick's personality. I have seen a little bit more this season when he's on TV, and he's actually been pretty funny and engaging.
I mean, we know that if he showed up late.
All right, here. How about this?
you
How
were cut.
about this for an example? You ever know? Because this is not about my father. My father was a great father. You ever see dads that are pretty gruff and tough, and then they become grandparents, and then they're elite?
Yeah.
They're elite grandparents.
Yeah.
You know, like I see something like. I mean, look, he's dating a younger woman. Maybe it could work. Maybe it could because again.
Do you think the Patriot way translates to college athletes?
I think it translates to sales. I think it translates to plumbing. I think it translates to anything. If your philosophy is we're going to do it this way and this is the way that's going to get us victories and we're going to do it together, yeah, absolutely.
So Bill Belichick has set his strategy, and it makes some sort of sense in the new world of college sports. He's going to run an NFL-style program.
Yeah.
But in college, players are getting paid now. He's trying to develop players to be ready for the NFL. That's how they're going to run the program. I guess my big question is you get to the age of 72 and he has zero college experience. Zero. I mean, you step onto campus and it's day one and Bill Belichick goes, okay, how do I recruit? How do I convince two parents, to let them mold my son for the next 4 years? How do I do that? I mean, he'll figure it out. He's a smart guy. He'll figure it out.
I think it's one of those situations where parents go to you and say, oh, son, you got an offer from blank, blank, and blank. You have a chance to go play for Bill Belichick and learn the game of football from Bill Belichick. This feels like a no-brainer.
So he's going to be relying on his reputation more than his knowledge of how the game works. The college game, recruiting, and everything else works.
Look, we've seen it a million times. We've seen coaches that can't coach in the pros but can coach in college. We've seen it vice versa. Like when Notre Dame got Charlie Weiss, I was like, ha ha, suck it, haters. Bro, this is the worst experiment of all time. Of all time. We are going to have a decided schematic advantage. Are you? You still have to get players in there.
Yeah, you can be a genius in football and run a hugely complex system, but if you don't have players who understand how to work it, and they're not professionals yet, that could be a problem.
So at the end of the day, Paul, your question, the short answer is, I'm fascinated to see how it works. I really am.
It's kind of jarring to actually see it, when it was officially done.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, he's really doing. It's not like he's not going to Ohio State, or one of the blue bloods of college football. He's going to UNC.
UNC.
It's very bizarre.
He'll have a great staff. They'll be well versed on how the college game works and what he needs to do.
Do you think he wanted to get back in the NFL? Like, there's going to be coach. There already are coaching jobs available.
I feel like if he wanted to be
Couldn't
in the
you
NFL,
have waited 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, whatever?
But I feel like if he wanted to do that, he would do it.
So I was reading Seth Wickersham's piece in ESPN, and apparently no one really there was no matchup between a job he wanted and a job that wanted him.
That's fair.
There's probably a couple of jobs that wanted him, but he didn't want those. There were a couple of jobs he wanted, like the Bears job, but they didn't really want him.
They're going to stick with. Oh, they fired Eber.
They did, but they're looking for an offensive coach for Caleb Williams.
Makes sense.
And not a defensive coach. So he said, I think college is the best way to go.
Cool. I'm excited to see how it works out. And, our buddy Jordan in North Carolina, he's like, I'm jumping on the bandwagon of NC football now.
Can you buy a sleeveless cutoff hoodie in light blue at this point?
I'm sure you can. If not, you make it yourself. DIY.
All right. This is some fun audio here. It's sports-esque. Yesterday, I spent a good chunk of my afternoon putting together some station promos, as the station imaging director tends to do. You hear them every once in a while throughout the day, Monday Night Football matchups, stuff like that. Had quite a bit on my plate yesterday as trying to jump out ahead a few weeks so I don't have to do this during the holiday break and all that. So we got, the Christmas doubleheader, NFL, we got Army Navy this weekend. So I'm making all these promos, and maybe you remember this. Maybe if you're a new listener, you don't have any idea where this is going, but we have the voice guy.
Voice of God.
The voice of God, the station voice guy. And you hear all the promos, and it's got the production and all that, the music behind it. But when it's just the isolated voice of God, I don't know why. I think it's funnier. I think it's even funnier when he curses, which I got a couple of those here from his outtakes. My man sent me like an 8-minute file yesterday it was 9 games, 9 promos that I needed to make.
9 promos, 8 minutes.
By the way, they're like 10 seconds each.
So yeah, should not take more than 2 minutes.
But he doesn't say, he
rolls.
Presses record and just rants sometimes. He does not edit out all of the outtakes. Here's the good one. Nothing like that. He also does it. He'll read them 3 times, 3 different ways, depending on what you want. So I'll kind of just walk you through what we were dealing with yesterday. Here's the first one.
We've got an old school AFC West showdown Thursday. We've got an old school AFC West showdown on Thursday Night Football when Justin Herbert and the Chargers host rookie sensation Bo Nix and the Broncos to SoFi Stadium.
Now, if you noticed, that was actually a spelling error by our fearless leader, Adam. A grammatical mistake. We've got an old school AFC West showdown on Thursday Night Football because Adam types out the script and sends it over. When Justin Herbert and the Chargers host rookie sensation Bo Nix and the Broncos to SoFi Stadium.
Not at SoFi Stadium. Yeah.
At SoFi Stadium, or welcome them to. Let's do at SoFi Stadium.
So he caught it.
We've got an old school AFC West showdown on Thursday Night Football when Justin Herbert and the Chargers host. We've got an old school AFC West showdown on Thursday Night Football when Justin Herbert and the Chargers host Ricky Ricardo. We've got an old school. Jesus God. Off the rails. We've got an old school AFC West showdown on Thursday Night Football when Justin Herbert and the Chargers host. Why am I that up? We've got an old school AFC West showdown on Thursday Night Football when Justin Herbert and the Chargers host rookie sensation Bo Nix and the Broncos at SoFi Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
He finally got it. So
Ricky Ricardo. Save that.
Can you imagine, like me, I'm just sitting there, I'm like,
get to it! Say it!
Driving me insane.
Rookie Ricardo.
And, all right, let me ask you this.
I got more, by the way, but keep
Can
going.
he could
Edit it all out.
go,
Just send you the good ones.
and
Yes.
send you the final cut.
That would take an extra 3 or 4 minutes of
Let me
work.
tell you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you who would do that. Me. I would
Me
send
too.
Paulie the big, long, raw file and be
No,
like, you figure it out.
I would cut every single mistake out and only
you would?
send the. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I would send him the raw
I don't want
file.
anyone to hear all my errors.
Oh,
I
yeah,
like
that's true.
Ben's idea more.
Should we play his when he interrupted Chris Rose again?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was live.
Oh, okay, that was.
So I got to sit there and wait for him to. I'm like, okay,
Is this
screw
it?
That one.
Is this it?
Bro, it's
Is
2
this
lines.
it?
I'm like, please just give me, because then I put it together and it sounds.
We've got an old school AFC West showdown on Thursday Night Football when Justin Herbert and the Chargers host rookie sensation Bo Nix and the Broncos at SoFi Stadium. Our coverage begins Thursday at 4:30. The NFL plays here on 97.3 The Fan.
Nicely done.
All polished. Megan says, this is what I hear in my house at night.
It's true. Yeah. He kept going, though.
Page 2.
What?
Kamara,
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara.
Kamara, you say Kamara, I say Kamara. That's what they would say in Boston. They go, oh my God, it's Alvin Kamara. And the Saints are coming marching in. Oh my God. Jordan Love and the Packers
Just go
look to
right into
cement a wild card berth on Monday Night Football when Alvin Kamara and the Saints come marching in.
Just goes right into it. I love this guy. Worked with him for years. He's, I think, the best voice guy in radio.
He's an elite voice guy. He's the best of the best, the creme de la creme.
But when I get files like that, and I'm just sitting there, I've been doing this for an hour already. I'm like, guy, just get to it. Just get to it.
I love it.
Wanted it.
I'm glad he does.
You say Kamara, I say Kamara. That's what they would say in Boston. They go, oh my God, it's Alvin
He's doing
Kamara. And the
bits.
Saints are coming marching in. Oh my God.
What are you, a Southwest flight attendant? Like, God. So amazing. I need to know, is he married? Does he have children? What is his wife like? What does she do? Does she think he's insane? Is he insane? Kamara.
Kamara?
Is he in Boston?
I don't think so.
That's what they would say in Boston. They go, oh my God, it's Alvin
my God.
Kamara. And the Saints are coming marching in. Oh my God.
I mean, think about it this way. If your job involved you probably kind of locked in an isolated room by
You
yourself
lose your mind.
all day,
Just doing this.
and you receive emails from people like Adam, and you're just supposed to
Hey.
read the words on the page all day long. That's all you do. You'd probably go a little nutty at some point.
I'm already a little nutty. I don't do that anyway, but that
Justin Herbert and the Chargers host. Why am I that up?
what a legend. I love it. Please never stop sending the raw files so we get that gold.
They go, oh my God, it's Alvin Kamara. And the Saints are coming marching in. Oh my God.
It's more
Jordan
Jewish
Love and the
grandmother
Yeah.
It just goes right into it.
He just goes right into it. What a legend.
I gotta just, that's my day.
What is his name? Just his first name?
John?
John. I wanted it to be like Rod or Ron.
John's the man.
That's brilliant.
Are we done? Do we have more?
I
We
did
can take a
have
break.
one final
We can
story
take a break.
quickly.
No, we still have our football threesome coming up. Yeah, go ahead, finish.
American Psycho. They're redoing that movie now. And I guess it's not a full-on reboot of the 2000 classic with Christian Bale, but yeah, they're working on a new one. They've
Why?
signed Austin Butler,
See, I
who you
love
remember
him.
from Elvis.
I love him.
He did a really good job in that one.
He's incredible.
They said this one might have more of a love interest type aspect to it than serial killer of the 80s. I don't know.
American Psycho, the love story.
But bro, I saw that headline and I go, that was one of the best movies ever made.
It's literally
so good.
It's a perfect film.
Don't touch it
in every way.
Whether it's a new adaptation or a complete reboot.
The book by Bret Easton Ellis is even better than the movie. Is spectacular, and now they're going to make Point Break 2, and it's going to be, and I'll watch it because I love American Psycho. Have you seen it?
I have not seen American Psycho.
It is. It's a perfect film in every way.
From what I know, it seems like it would be hard to remake it into a love story.
Yeah,
but
yeah, very much so. Very much so. The killer with the heart of gold.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the love story.
The love story. Yeah, it is. That's. I love Austin Butler though, so I bet he'll crush it. But it's always the script is usually the problem. But well, they're officially out of ideas, and so are we. So we're going to go to break.
That's right. We're going to come back. Our football threesome. Look ahead to tonight. Our best matchups and our picks for the week coming up after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Here, including going to give away those James Taylor tickets at the Rady Show. Got a discussion of remake movies going on in our YouTube chat, and right now it is time for our football threesome.
Can Ben and Woods interest you in a threesome?
A threesome would be fun.
Oh, not that kind of threesome.
Dang it!
We're talking end-arounds, the best tight ends in the world.
He must work out.
And going all the way in this game of inches.
Nice.
It's the NFL threesome with Ben and Woods. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Fun above all else on 97.3 The Fan.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He's giving them the business.
All right, our threesome consists of a look ahead to tonight's matchup here on 97.3 The Fan, our best matchups of the week, and then us each making a pick against the spread. And we'll start tonight at 5:15. The Los Angeles Rams visiting the San Francisco 49ers, and almost feels like an elimination game for both teams. The Rams 7-6, 49ers 6-7. Neither can really afford more losses down the stretch. Now, the Rams have won 6 of their last 8 after a 1-4 start. The 49ers did win last week, one of their best performances of the season, but remain injury-riddled with their top 2 running backs on the injured reserve list. And you were once again wondering, why on earth are the 49ers favored in this game?
Yeah, and why are the Rams, who like you said, they're getting points. They're getting 3 points. They're on the road, so that's...
I give you the same answer. Thursday night home teams are really tough on the short week. playing at home, and it's a must-win game.
It's a must-win for the Rams too.
It
though,
is.
I would say.
It is. But
you still need some help and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good matchup.
I'm staying away from this one.
Yeah.
I certainly can see the Rams winning this game, but not going to be surprised at all if the 49ers find a way to win at home on prime time. Now, here's the toughest decision of the week. Best matchup.
There's two really good
I'd say three. Three really good matchups. So go ahead. Take your pick. I'll take whatever's left over at the end.
I think I'm going to roll with the obvious, the chalk, the 10-3 Bills against the 12-1 Lions. Holy smokes, man! Like one of those games where, both teams are in the playoffs. Are they locked in for? No. What's the?
The Lions have to stay ahead of the Eagles for home field advantage.
Yeah, Eagles are 11-2. They're taking on the Steelers.
The Bills
which is
the Bills are trying to keep heat on the Chiefs. Now
Yep.
they lost last week,
They
which
did.
puts it tougher to catch them. Remember, they have the tiebreaker because they did beat the Chiefs. So, it's a big game in terms of playoff seeding. Paulie, do you have a pick of your favorite matchup?
If it's not Buffalo and Detroit, I would go Pittsburgh, Philly.
Yep. In-state matchup. You don't see it every year, but the Steelers and the Eagles, another pair of double-digit win teams going at it. The frustrating thing, those games are on at the exact same time. They're both 125 games on Sunday. They're two best games of the week. You couldn't throw one of those in prime time or make one of them a morning game or a Monday game.
The morning slate is rough this week. Jets, Jags, Dolphins, Texans, Cowboys, Panthers, Ravens, Giants. The Ravens are going to wipe. That's a 16-point spread.
Is that the biggest line I've seen this year?
I think so.
Then
Kansas City, Cleveland, maybe the closest game in the morning.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cold and wet in Cleveland, and Kansas City knows how to handle that, though. It's not like the Rams going there and dealing with
Pretty
it.
good Sunday night game.
Yeah, that would be the other pick. Packers at 9-4, Seahawks at 8-5, and both of those teams are obviously a little more tenuous. Would both be in the playoffs right now, but can't really afford a bunch of losses. The Rams and 49ers will both be cheering for the Packers in that one because the NFC West is still very tight. So Sunday night game's big and kind of under the radar. I don't think it's going to be a very good game necessarily, but the Colts are in Denver. If the Colts win and get to 7-7 and knock the Broncos to 8-6 and have the tiebreaker, the Colts could legitimately say, all right, we've got a real shot at the playoffs. If the Broncos win, forget it. Colts are out, and your AFC wildcards are pretty much locked up. So that's a big game in terms of that last playoff spot. Ultimately, I don't think either of those teams are going anywhere. But, if you want to get to the playoffs and say, hey, we got a game, it's an accomplishment, that's kind of a big game as well. All right, on to our pick. And with those big spreads and those good teams, I think this is a tough week to handicap in the NFL. I'm going to wait until the very final game of the week, and there's two Monday night games this week. I'll take the second of the two, staggered start. The Atlanta Falcons are at the Las Vegas Raiders. For me, there's a must-win for the Falcons and a must-lose for the Raiders. They're trying to hold on to first pick in the draft type status. The
pick.
Falcons need to win. Going to Las Vegas is not a huge disadvantage in terms of your fans will travel.
Yeah.
It's indoors. It's a pretty neutral kind of environment, and they're only favored by 4. Atlanta. So that a little more than a field goal hurts a little bit, but otherwise I can see the Falcons winning by 7-10 in this one. So I'll take Atlanta
I might put
on the
money
road.
on that before everybody else does, and that number climbs.
No kidding. And I'm going to roll with the Vikings laying a touchdown against the Bears. I have liked what I've seen from the Vikings recently. And the Bears are not great at all, not even a little bit. Caleb Williams, and again, it's we always blame the quarterback, but
that was my first thought as well.
Yeah.
But the Vikings, they always play close games.
Yeah.
It's like they're allergic to not close games.
like the Chiefs.
And they win them. Kevin O'Connell's been really good in the close games, but man, they don't blow out a lot of teams.
If there's a team you can blow out, I think it's the Chicago
Probably.
Bears, I think. But that Chiefs and Browns line, you're
I was
looking at that and you're like, all right, they're on the road in
I don't
Cleveland.
think the Chiefs have covered.
I don't think they have.
Since
It's like week 1 maybe. But again, you're like, it's the Browns. It's 4.5. You can't win by a touchdown, Patrick Mahomes and crew. I'd probably put money on the Chiefs. Paulie, what do you like?
They don't cover. The Chiefs do not cover.
But what does that say though? Look at their record. They don't
says
cover.
they'll win by 3.
It's no. You know what it says? They're due. They're due for a cover. And who better to cover against than the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I guess with that logic, I mean, you could take the Jets -3.5 against the Jags. Those are two horrible teams. But you would think eventually an Aaron Rodgers team is going to cover against the spread, right? Probably not.
Yeah.
I would probably throw money on. I like Denver. They're playing really well. They've been playing pretty good football most of the season. They're at home. I think Denver can beat Indianapolis by it's 4-point spread. Feel better if it was 3.
Yep.
But I'll take Denver at -4.
Sunshine State.
And that is our football threesome.
Try to favor the home teams
for a
if I can.
Thursday. Speaking of covers, James Taylor, I believe, sings some of them during his concerts, and you can win tickets right now for James Taylor and his all-star band at the Rady Shell at Jacobs Park on May the 10th. Just be the fourth caller at 833-288-0973 right now, 833-288-0973. Hook you up with the tickets to James Taylor and his all-star band at the Rady Shell. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at theshell.org.
Our boy Jordan tweeted us in from North Carolina. He said, #Chapel Bill is already becoming a thing. I fully expect those shirts to pop up all over Franklin Street.
I bet he'll be spending a lot of time in chapel.
Chapel Bill.
On Sundays.
Yep.
All right, we will come back. Final segment of Ben and Woods. Wrap things up on a Throwback Thursday. Annie and Elston coming up at 10 here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. You getting testy?
No,
there?
not at all. Not
Okay.
even a little. I just had to put some eye drops in. I'm just
I know
tired.
you're not getting a lot of sleep.
No, got up at 2:30 again. Last 2 days in a row. I'm just gassed.
When did you go to bed? 8, 8:30, 9,
when did the
9:30?
Aztecs game end?
10, 9, 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, I put a movie on and fell asleep after that. And
5.5 hours of sleep. 1, 2, 3. That's what I get every night.
Got up about 2.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
standard.
but you're a cyborg.
True.
You know? I'm not. I need my rest. Delicate
You have
genius.
small children, which is
Yeah, dude.
exhausting.
Well, that's the thing is like you're at work and you're watching sports, having a grand old time.
Grand old time.
Yeah, napping on the couch, eating
had our big,
barbecue, whatever.
Well, yesterday we were eating, we had Buena Forquete. It was our holiday luncheon.
Ooh.
Big spread. It was delicious. They had Channel 10 gifts. I'm wearing one of them, my new sweatpants from Channel 10, holiday present for all of us.
Model it for the YouTube feed. Let's get a look at that thing, by the way.
Got a logo over here.
Yeah, when we go to fantasy camp, don't wear those to where we're going to take you.
The only problem, and I don't want to be a complainer, they don't have pockets. I didn't realize that when I put them on this morning. I went to shove my wallet and my keys into my pockets, and there was
Fell on the ground.
Nothing there. It's like, whoa, there's nothing. Back pocket, nothing. No, they're very comfy though.
How do you say it again?
Pockets.
No.
Sweats.
The restaurant.
Buona Forqueta?
Buona
Forqueta.
Forqueta. Because that's what I eat at Petco Park.
I believe that's a
time.
good fork.
Buona?
In Italian.
Ooh.
Buona Forqueta.
Buona Forqueta. Good fork.
Yeah, I had like a
so good.
Had pasta with tomato sauce, pasta with an Alfredo. They had a veggie lasagna. They had a good salad. Those roasted Brussels sprouts are really good. Good spread. Now, I think it's maybe the best I've ever had at Channel 10.
At Channel 10.
Yeah.
And you got those sweatpants.
And I
which
got
do-
sweatpants
do
and
like.
a puffy vest, which I'm not wearing.
Why not?
You're
You're not a vest guy.
Kind of like the we were just Back to the Future in the chat, kind of like Marty McFly's.
Oh, it's that puffy?
Yeah, with no sleeves and kind of not quite as puffy, but a little puffy, with the Channel 10 logo on it.
Can I say this? Not against Channel 10, just against all companies. If you want to give us clothes to wear, better chance of us wearing it if it doesn't have our work logo on it. Right? Is that a fair statement?
Maybe we just get like a cash bonus to go out and buy clothes.
But
the vest could actually be worn like on air.
On the job. You can't wear those on the air.
The sweats are never going to be worn on the air, so I can see where those didn't need to have the logo on them. But the vest for sure looks pretty sharp.
Sure. Yeah, you could wear. I could see you wearing that vest out at the Farmers Insurance Open.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, interviewing someone in your channel.
I like that
10
it's not sleeved because I get too warm sometimes in a coat, but a sleeveless vest works for me.
I have made the switch to vests.
Have you?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 vests that I rotate that I like. I like the look of it. I got the look from Mark Loretta, Padres great. I saw him rocking a vest at Fantasy. I got to get one of those vests. And I did. And they're warm. I wear them to the Seals game a lot. I wear a long sleeve shirt with the vest over it. I like the look.
Have you ever worn a 3-piece suit?
Yes.
With a full, like the vest? I've never done that.
It's a vest. I did, dude. I did. The tiny little buttons.
The little button vest that goes, and your tie goes under there, and then the 3-piece suit.
What a nightmare it is. Speaking of nightmares, this is that time of year that Paulie probably doesn't want to answer his phone from me because it's almost time for the annual Help Me Cut the Cord, Paulie Reindl. All right? And some news. So, some news came out this morning, and I saw that YouTube TV, so any of you out there that are subscribers to YouTube TV, they're raising their prices yet again.
I used to be, but then they lost the Padres game, so I had to go elsewhere.
So now I think it's gone from $73 to $83. It has doubled in price in the last like 4 or 5 years. And I saw a tweet that made me laugh. Chris J. Backey tweets, I'm so glad I made the right financial decision in 2018. I ditched my $89 a month cable package so that I can now pay $83 a month for YouTube TV, $23 a month for Netflix, $16 a month for Disney Plus, $13 a month for Paramount, $15 a month for Prime, $10 a month for Apple TV, and $21 a month for HBO.
No Peacock?
Yeah, no Peacock, no Hulu. I think Hulu is going up again as well. I'm paying a fortune in cable every month. I fear that if I called today to cancel it all, then I have to reinstall my internet. You know, because they call it a bundle.
You bundle it.
Yeah, you bundle it.
Bundle-rooski.
Yeah, make it very sweet for yourself. Just bundle it up. And you want a home phone too? No, I don't want a home phone.
Maybe we should implement that pricing plan. You can get Ben for $13.99 a month.
You get
Woods for $13.99 a month. Paulie for $13.99 a month. Or you can bundle them all together.
What if you only want
$29.99?
Yeah,
well, if you only want to get 2 of us, you can just get, me and Paul, and then
route,
you won't
our
hear
cameras
Woods.
and microphones to one feed, 3 different feeds, and you're gonna miss,
just
half
cut right
the
out.
show.
You don't get the Woods feed. It just goes dead for a minute or 2 while Woods is talking. You only pay for the me and Paul feed.
Elisa says we have cable and all the streaming. I won't even add it up. I do as well. I don't look because I think if I sat down and tallied it all up, it's north of $650 to $700 a month just to be entertained.
Yeah, there's a bit of financial head in the sand that goes on as well.
Yeah, looking the other way.
As long as I don't know what I'm paying, I don't feel bad about it, and then it's okay. But as soon as you know exactly what you're paying, you start feeling bad about it.
Well, and then you factor in Spotify. You factor in a couple of the apps that I subscribe to. You factor in all of the things. You're like, oh, cool. I'm paying like $1,700 a month just for music, television, whatever. And but yeah, YouTube TV. So if you remember YouTube TV, you probably got an email this morning that they're going to be jacking your prices up on you. At this point, I don't know what is the best, most efficient way to get everything I like. I don't even know if there is one anymore.
It's really not.
You just wear it, yeah? Just one of those life lessons.
I mean, like Netflix is probably the easiest one for me, at least, to get rid of if I had to choose one.
Yeah.
I don't use it all that much, but then some show is going to come out on Netflix.
Yeah,
in
Baby Reindeer
3
comes
months.
out.
And
What about my
that's
kids
the thing.
watch it all the
What
time.
you need to
it's
do,
true.
and it unfortunately requires an extra bit of work, is make a list and prioritize the things that are most important for you to watch. Like 1, Padres baseball.
Yes.
All right. So where can I get that for the best price? And make sure that and then you see what else you're getting. Okay. Second most priority is it Amazon Prime? I want to make sure I get the football and the movies that they have, or is Netflix because you want the vast selection that they have. Where's your second priority? And kind of go down the list until you find some things that I can probably excise at the bottom. I can live without all the Star Treks on Paramount Plus. I can't, but other people can, I'm sure.
So like Max, right? Yeah. I will go watch Sopranos.
You need that. So that's high. That's high in your priority list. And
but it's not.
You got to rank
it 1,000 times.
Well, that's a personal decision to you.
We all need to be reading more, listening to more music. I think is the key to happiness. But holy cow, Dominic says listen to this. Oh, it's easy. You just jailbreak the super box and you're good to go. I bought once a jailbroken Fire Stick. It didn't work.
The FBI was at your house within 5 minutes.
It didn't work, dude. It didn't work. There was you can watch any movie you want, bro. All right, totally. Spent a fortune on that. Didn't work. Threw it away. I hate this, man. I hate this. So I'm with Elise. I pay for the cable and I pay for all the streaming. And the one I don't is YouTube TV. I do not pay for that. So I guess I saved myself $83
Well,
a
YouTube
month.
TV replaces cable.
Does it, though?
Part.
Because they don't have MLB Network, which I need. They don't have games, which I need.
It's a little cheaper, but you're giving up. If you don't care about baseball, then you can definitely do
baseball.
YouTube TV. But if you want to do baseball, it's not a great option anymore.
It's not even an option. This is a nightmare.
Well, you can do it, and then you can sign up for the Padres streaming feed.
Padres.tv.
Yes. There are ways to do it.
But I have to watch that in my home, on my home's internet.
All right, we got to check traffic one more time quickly before we wrap things up.
Correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Home internet.
Super.
Only. Traffic.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a collision near the Via Rancho Parkway on-ramp to southbound 15. It's over to the right shoulder, and a crash has been cleared into the center divide on westbound 8 past Los Coches. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Great idea by Tony in the chat. Says, hey, Woodsy, T-Mobile gives free Hulu, Netflix, and Apple TV. Well, Tony, I'm on Verizon, and I've been on Verizon, and I just added my wife to my wife has always been on my Verizon account. Now, she needs access. I said, fine, take access. And I have to approve. She just bought a new phone. So I got to approve it. We go down to Verizon in person. I go, put her on the account. When she buys all her new things, I don't care. She can do whatever she wants. Put her on the account. They go, yeah, no problem. Yesterday, she's setting up her new phone. What do I get? Please allow her access. I'm like, oh my God, I just thought we did this. I need somebody to come in and make it easier.
You know why T-Mobile offers free whatever they're offering, Hulu and everything? Because they know if you sign up, they're going to make their money. They don't offer it out of the goodness of their hearts. They know they're going to make it back on the back end on your mobile bill.
Well, and now
you're paying for it one way or another.
If I switch, it's going to cost me money to switch, right? And
Depends
I have to
on how long you've been with Verizon.
break a contract
Yes.
and all that stuff.
I mean, there is certainly, if you're smart about it and know when your contracts end and you keep switching, you can take advantage of the introductory deals over and over
Who's got
again.
the time,
if
dude?
that's the lifestyle you want to lead, and switching every 12 months or 16 months or whatever it is, and go, okay, introductory rate's over. It's time for me to switch again and take back my Spectrum box to the store, and I'm switching over to DirecTV, and then you do that, and then you switch again, and you switch again, and you switch again. And yes, you can save some money that way. But I don't know about your overall well-being, Woods.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great as is. You throw that onto the fire. Throw those logs on the fire. If my wife came to me and said, I need you to be more fiscally responsible with all the streaming stuff, I'd be like, I need a divorce. There's no way I can go on with this. Don't task me with that. You've already tasked me with a lot. Don't ask me to do that, too, because it's just getting out of control.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
100%. 100%, dude. So, Paulie, you're pretty dialed in with this stuff. What do you do? No cable.
Yeah, we steal cable.
Oh, all right. Well,
I mean, you use a family member's. I don't care. Use a family member's account for cable.
A password.
Someone's paying for it.
I'm big with you on HBO Max. Can't get rid of that one.
Yep.
Netflix would probably be the one I think that I would get rid of.
So Brandon gives me the old, just call them and threaten to switch companies. They lower the price. I just did that, and I'm paying more.
I think the best,
and I'm signed up for another 15 years or something.
I think the best bundle for you would probably be Hulu, the Hulu bundle with Disney Plus, ESPN Plus.
And I think I had to put them on our house note. So, yeah.
This is a good reminder as we wrap up the show. 97.3 The Fan remains free of charge.
Free of charge, not a nickel.
Support our sponsors, please.
Yeah, thank you.
You don't pay a dime for this.
Thank you.
That's it for us. Annie and Elston coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow to wrap up the week on a Friday for Pauline Woods. I'm Ben. Have a great one, everybody. So long.